Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
Good morning and welcome in. Happy Thursday. It is Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. I am Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What is going on?
Storms
Yeah, it is
everywhere the eye can see.
It is raining. It is raining. Happy opening day, kind of the College World Series-ish. I guess
World Cup as well.
And the World Cup.
We got first soccer game at 2:00 on Fox. Mexico against South Africa, I think.
Okay.
Or
Who
no,
you taking, Joey?
I got a Mexico.
You got to go with Mexico. You got to go.
You can go
gotta
with whoever you want.
with Mexico.
I think it's South Africa.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is a way we
The
can check.
other game tonight is South Korea and Czechia at 9:00.
All right,
Mexico,
who you got in that one?
South Africa is correct.
I'm gonna say South Korea.
Yeah, give me South Korea. Mexico and South Korea.
These games are both in Mexico. One is in Mexico City and one is in Guadalajara.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in Guadalajara.
And
I would like to visit both Mexico City and Guadalajara.
Okay.
Only Mexico City made my power rankings with tiers list a month or so ago. Sorry to Guadalajara. I didn't think about you at that time.
Tomorrow, the games are in Canada and California.
Yeah,
All right.
Canada starts their opening match at 2:00, and then the U.S. plays Paraguay at 8:00.
And will there be workers for SoFi Stadium?
That is the question.
That is one of the questions. Well, another question was, did we just see the biggest choke job in NBA history
Yes,
last
we did.
night? Or did we see the greatest comeback in NBA
Yes,
Finals
we did.
history? We also saw that last night. I am so excited to talk about the NBA Finals and where we stand with my good friend, Joey Warcola today. Joey, oh man, you must have been having a tough time last night while the rest of America was enjoying the crap out of themselves.
Yeah, and they were throwing eggs at the Spurs as they were going back to their hotel.
Throwing egg. Sure, throw eggs, throw as many eggs as you want. Everybody was enjoying themselves last night.
This
Mixed in some tomatoes to throw
out of all
into.
the teams that made a comeback, I'm not surprised the Knicks did this because they've done this for the last few years now. This series has given me serious PTSD as a Celtics fan. Who blew two 20-point second half leads at home in the semifinals. This is 30. I'm not surprised when it was a 29-point game.
29 is 30. Another example.
Yep,
29 is 30.
29 is 30.
It was a 29-point comeback. It was 30.
No,
Everyone's saying
If it
that.
was a 30-point comeback, they would have
And they cut
tied.
They cut it in half.
The opposite.
They cut the lead.
Way, right?
They cut the deficit in half going into
that's
the
what
fourth quarter. And once that happened, I knew Spurs were in trouble if they weren't going to get it together and wake up.
What a terrific time.
It's crazy. You get 76 points in the first half and then 30 in the second half.
Yep.
It was complete disaster for the Spurs.
I think you're more bothered by this than you would be in the opposite if the Celtics were actually in this and winning.
I'm thankful my team's not a part of this. I am thankful for that.
Which would be the greater emotion? The Celtics winning the championship or the Knicks winning the finals, like in a negative way?
Celtics winning a championship is always going to top it. The Knicks they've only won 2 finals. If it was the Lakers, that would that would be even more
Okay,
disastrous.
Now
that
we're
would
counting how many finals someone has won.
Yeah, I know.
Joey, who's been alive for what, 2 titles over
Incredible.
here?
Incredible.
titles
Counting
and
how
4
many finals
two-
the Knicks
yeah,
have
2
won.
titles and 4
and-
appearances.
and
You would have
throwing-
less total titles than a Knicks fan who was born in like 1961.
Yeah, and throwing lots of stones at glass houses,
Yeah.
considering Celtics fans
Real
definitely
Yankees fan behavior.
they
over there
definitely
from
aren't
the
angry
Celtics
at
guy.
anyone and throwing stuff at people and saying racist things all the time. That doesn't happen with that fan base. But
it does.
oh, of course it does. But the Knicks are up 3-1 in the finals.
So much bad basketball occurred in the last couple minutes
Yes.
of that game.
So much.
Like, it's incredible to me. All of the stupidity. There's a example that we're watching on the replay right now on Sports Center.
Which part?
The near
The
backcourt
potential
violation.
Okay.
over and back.
Okay, so that was I got clarity on that. That's not an over and
Okay.
back.
No, it's not.
It's
All right.
you have to cross over completely with the ball.
Did anyone give you clarity on what the hell De'Aaron Fox was doing
No.
for the final 25 minutes, of
Including
real
the
time or game time?
including the announcers who didn't even mention it for
Yeah,
some
No,
reason.
they did not.
Horrible job by them.
Yeah.
The fact that wasn't spotlighted as it happened is such a bad miss in that moment.
Now, it was pandemonium. I mean, it was unlike a scene
They
that
went
really
to commercial before the final. Like, they had multiple opportunities to come back and talk about this.
No, I'm not
discuss this.
defending that. I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah, total
let
pandemonium.
me place this real quick. That was one of the most unhinged things that I've seen in sports. We're talking about a franchise that doesn't win routinely.
Mhm.
Their fan base is New Yorkers, right? And we're talking about New York. Of the teams in New York, they win the least, but they might have the most
There's so many teams
I
in New
suppose-
York. I see what you're. Yeah.
I suppose that's debatable, but just let me continue.
You're good.
You know, they don't win very much, but they might have, with them and the Yankees, they might have the most passionate fan base out of all of them. These people are crazy. And then the celebrities come out along when the finals show up, and Taylor Swift shows up with her friends to the game and all these different things. And they spend game 4 or game 3, their first game at home in the NBA finals in a quarter century, laying an egg, and then they spend most of game 4 laying an egg as well. Just like, oh my goodness, this is actually going to happen to us. We're going to go back to San Antonio. We're going to lose, and we'll never see this again. It was not unlike my thoughts when I was watching the 2014 American League wildcard game happen. I'm thinking like, well, I'm glad I was here. It was a fun experience. I don't regret it, but it's never happening again, and I will never have happiness in my life. This is as close as I will ever be. And then the end of the third quarter happens, and then the fourth quarter happens, and people are strewn out all over the floor. There's the guy on the out of bounds call in the last 15 seconds who went up to the play and started doing the line signal. That guy had no business being anywhere near that. I don't know how he didn't
John Starks.
I don't know how he didn't absolutely get smoked by. Was that Starks?
Yeah, that's Starks.
Okay.
He sits right behind the basket, and he's always playing. He's always close to that baseline.
I don't know how he didn't get completely mauled by security.
No,
at that point in time.
they let him do that.
Did you see when they pulled out, and showed the arena-wide view, what it looked like during timeouts? And this is relatively common in NBA games, but it was just kind of crazy to see. They had security guards like almost shoulder to shoulder for the length of the court, just kind of looking out into the stands. Sometimes they'll have people come out of the court and kind of stand there and cross their arms.
Usually there's like
6 of them.
Yeah.
There was 40 of them.
This is a brother in arms situation all the way across the length of the court.
And nothing anyone could have done could have stopped it.
No.
If they wanted to run onto the court, they could have. I mean, and then you had, out of all of that, it's a complete powder keg, and then you have what occurred in the last 15 seconds of that game.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, like, if ever there would have been an all-time, like court storm with just the weirdest people you ever could have imagined out there. There's nothing any security could have done to prevent it.
Nope.
The the shots of that floor after the game, and you want to talk about pandemonium. Like,
Yeah.
they win, and no one really knows what to do exactly. It looked like a few random people had gotten on the floor and were like cheering and then being chased off by security when they pulled it out.
Yeah.
It's just total chaos.
Total chaos.
Total chaos.
It was a scene unlike anything I ever seen. And like, I think that's cool. For the record, I know, I know that not everybody likes us to watch the Knicks win or anything. It's not like, I just like this. I love this passion that we're seeing right now.
I thought the fans were like outstanding. The noise was outstanding.
And
the thrush of volume that would hit when like a big play, like the big three that Brunson hit, put it 104, 103, followed by should have been a turnover for a layup.
Yeah, the missed layup.
I mean, my favorite absolute moment of that game, and I'm glad that the Knicks ended up winning it, was a missed layup just because of the slow motion replay of the crowd as they are about to like go to sheer euphoria, only for the ball to draw the back iron and bounce out. And you watch the reactions on their faces in slow-mo as they're showing this. It's incredible theater, like absolutely incredible theater.
If you're waking up in New York this morning, I don't even know, like, you know, you're probably just punching yourself.
If you're
in
waking
the
up
face.
this morning and you went to bed early, or you wrote this game off as one person in this studio attempted to do very early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Where evidence was taken just in case something like this actually happened. Not that I.
And it's happened.
Oh, let's go through it.
It happened before in this playoffs.
Yeah.
They came back down 28 against the Cavs.
Let's do it. Okay, so live me last night watching Game 4 of the NBA Finals. I'm getting the show ready. I'm putting it together, and I'm looking at all of our topics, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna spend a segment on the NBA Finals last night. We'll put it to bed, and and do our 10 minutes, and that's it. And the original topic headline was Spurs handle Knicks to even the series.
I mean, you bore out of it.
Spurs handle. I don't think I wrote that. I don't know who wrote that. Did one of you guys write the not part? Did you write
Joey.
the not
Yes,
part?
I should have
did.
realized the
Yeah.
Borat would have been Joey.
Yeah.
That should have been a
I was like, I did not write that. And here's what it said. Here were some of the jumping off points for the topic. Knicks couldn't do anything right. The Spurs probably could have won by more.
I agree with both of those statements as they were said. And then even after they had won that game with stuff that had went down the stretch, I couldn't believe that
I know
it worked for the Knicks.
And then what I wanted to talk about was Wembanyama's sort of presence in the game. I mean, he did the whole thing like I'm in your head. Like that was pretty real, it seemed like, for the majority of the game. They were just kind of throwing the ball up to him and he would tip it in. And then defensively, he was a presence for literally anything. I felt like he had them completely shook. The Knicks were broken on offense. They couldn't make a shot. They couldn't get a shot. They couldn't do anything. I was going to make fun of Ben Stiller and his funny glasses. I mean, we were going to do the entire thing. And then, I'm sitting, this is probably happening. I'm writing this down.
Third quarter, I think, is when this went on.
I'm writing this down middle of the third quarter.
Yeah.
And the game starts to get my attention a little bit more in the late third quarter. And then finally, with 7 minutes to go in the game, I popped back on the Google Doc and I said, all right, I'm going to start doing live updates here on the Google Doc.
Which I hadn't noticed because like right before this is when I took the picture.
Yeah.
And then right after the picture, I noticed the update.
It was just, it was kind of sitting at like 18, 15
right
for a
around
while,
15.
18, 15. And they kind of broke through that. And then I'm thinking, oh, we gotta pay attention to this. So live update with 7 minutes to go. Wait a minute. Live update with 4:30 to go. What in the world? 2 minutes to go. Brunson Bank. That was the one that you just talked about that made it a 1-point game. And then the ridiculousness happened after that. So I didn't really feel the need to jump on the Google Doc every 4 seconds. No. But the topic that we originally had in mind is not going to be talked about today on the show. It's a different topic now.
Yeah, it definitely turned into a
NBA.
different topic. All the way down to the word shook could be described of Victor Wembanyama shooting those free throws with the deadest of looks in his face.
Completely changed.
The absolute lack of confidence of anybody on the Spurs to even want to touch the ball late in the game, other than De'Aaron Fox, who absolutely should not have been touching the ball or taking shots.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
So let's go through it a little bit here.
Incredible.
A couple of the plays. These are the last two. Here is OG Anunoby putting his stamp on New York basketball history last night on two separate plays.
Shot won't go. Rebound deflected in the backcourt. Fox has a chance to get it. Fox has it inside. Blocked by Anunoby. Brunson gets it. Fires up a three. Shot no good. The chip. It's gone. It's gone. It's
I'm sorry that clip didn't last longer. I wish it did, but because I wanted to see the rest of it or feel the rest of it. But OG Anunoby comes up with a chase down block, I suppose you would call it, even though it seemed like
he had some distance to cover on De'Aaron Fox.
He did.
It seemed like it's just a miss more than a block. Like he left it short, if that makes sense. Off the glass.
He may have biffed that layup if OG Anunoby wasn't there.
Yeah.
That may be true, but it ignores the main point, which was not mentioned on the broadcast, that De'Aaron Fox, with 12 seconds left in the game and a 1-point lead, very much could have pulled the ball out and just started running around and hit to the free throw line.
Now, that is a former Sacramento King on that team.
To the point that you made from earlier, what happens when he gets to the free throw line? He probably craps his pants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a super high percentage, but you pull some of the time off of the clock at the very least.
And you kind of stop the craziness,
the frenetic chaos.
Yeah.
Happening.
Then in between those two plays that you just saw, you had the Jose Alvarado near backcourt violation, near foul at half court, near, all those different things. And then they don't really jar up anything. They say, we're going to put the ball in Brunson's hands and we are comfortable with literally any shot he takes. And they ended up with a 40-footer in front of Wembanyama's face, and he just barely missed it. And then guess who? OG Anunoby comes in and gets the tip and seals.
That was smart to keep him away. That was kind of smart to keep Wemby away from the rim, because he's the guy there usually grabbing the boards, and there was really no one there too. And the Knicks are known for the offensive rebounds, and OG is one of those guys who can capitalize on.
Well,
it.
and he was the guy who was inbounding on the play, and he was unguarded, and so nobody checked him.
You want to know what this shot reminded me of? I know I make Celtics references a lot, but this reminded me of.
I've not noticed.
This reminded me of the Derek White tip-in after Marcus Smart missed the fallaway three-pointer, nearly blowing Game 6 against the Heat of the Eastern Conference Finals. This was when they were down 3-0, and this was Game 6. They had a big lead. Miami came back, got up by 1, but Smart missed the basket.
23?
This was 23.
Okay.
This was 23, but White tipped the basketball with 0.1 second to force a Game 7. But that's what this shot reminded me of.
I'm sure I don't remember that.
So I was in a debate with someone yesterday who's
Google me
a basketball junkie and thinks about these things in ways that I don't. And he
Weekday
was trying
Wade?
to. Was that?
Was it Weekday Wade?
No, it wasn't Weekday Wade.
Yeah.
I don't know what his thoughts were on. I'll text. We'll see if we can get Weekdays Wade.
He's probably interested in the wrestling angle to all this, the whole Danhauser thing.
No.
Who's the Danhauser guy?
Weekday Wade's brother who would be interested.
I got a phone call about the Danhauser guy
This is a Matt McMaster crossover. We can ask him and he'll have answers.
All right.
This is a guy that when he was in Chicago for the event that he went to, this guy made his debut.
Yeah.
And so he bought a t-shirt of him, but he didn't bring that shirt in to give to Goodwill.
Of course. Of course.
So, but I'm texting with this guy and he's telling me like what an unbelievably smart basketball play it was for Brunson at the end. And all my brain can see is that they ran a play where he chucked a 43. Like,
yeah,
it was a terrible play in my mind. But he's like, no, it's brilliant because he's got Wembanyama drawn out. It's going to open up a lane that's free for a tip. And obviously that's what happened. So it's like hard to argue with someone that like a 2% result does not make a good basketball play.
Yeah.
But he's like, it gave him more shots at the apple and that he took the shot early enough that there would be a tip in. And he had as good of a look as he was going to get, given that he was double.
That's what they say. I mean, just get it on the rim,
right,
and give yourself at least one opportunity.
But I don't want to believe that was a good basketball play because he took a shot with like 4 seconds left that was absolutely forced that had like a 12% chance of going in.
it gives you.
I mean, sure, it's higher than 12 because he's Jalen Brunson, but
like
less than 25.
if I have a simple basketball brain, and my simple basketball brain tells me put the ball in the hoop, and that is the most efficient way
Sure.
to score. But there are some people that would really kind of argue with that, and they would say, well, what if I got 2 chances?
Yeah,
You know,
no, that's
like,
what he's like. Game theory tells you the most amount of chances is more optimal than the best one look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, game theory can go to hell.
I want to make the ball. I want to get the best
a guy
chance
taking
to
a
make one
40-footer is not a good look. And this went back and forth. You know, it's 11 o'clock. And he's like, I got to go to bed. I can't do this anymore. But I thought that was interesting because I didn't view it like that at all. I thought the Knicks were incredibly fortunate considering how bad I thought they played in the last minute and a half.
I will say this, and this is on your texting friends side. They were quite obviously the more composed team down the stretch.
Yeah.
And so like they're
when I'd say bad, it's just like things like that missed layup.
Yeah.
Like, there was just weird stuff happening in there, but they ended up winning the game. They put themselves in position to win the game. That's all you can ask when you're down 29, which is not 30.
In sports, oftentimes we make a lot of the crowd and the moment, and then we pull specific things out, and we call guys clutch or not clutch or, you know, whatever it is. And especially in the finals or in championship settings, that stuff like tends to live with you. I don't know that I've seen a team so visibly crap their pants the way that the San Antonio
I don't know
Spurs
how you
did.
come back from that.
Especially doing it twice in the
maybe
series.
you go win the next game, but the next time you're in crunch time, what are you drawing off of? All of the 700 mistakes that you've made in this series in the last like 4 minutes of a game?
Yeah.
Just horrendous basketball. And then I can't get the vacant dead stare out of Wembanyama's. Now he's young. He's going to have a million opportunities, but that's going to stick with you too. The game, like you have the ability to shoot free throws. They're giving you these baskets.
He closed his eyes too on the second one, just trying.
The first one looked horrible. The second one then was like off the front and left of the rim.
Yeah.
I just thought he completely disappeared after that first quarter.
He didn't want the ball at the end.
And it's crazy because Karl Anthony Towns got in the foul trouble. Mitchell Robinson was gassed after playing 5 minutes in the first quarter. The Knicks were down to their third and fourth centers on the depth chart, and they normally don't.
Oh, I mean, he was killing him. Towns got that foul like right in the first 5 seconds of the game, and I'm like, it's gonna be a long.
And then that second foul that was originally called on Wemby, but it got overturned. And that sat him out for the entire first quarter.
Right. And
I just thought of that stupid Towns step back three that he made where he tried harder to get fouled than he did to make the actual shot.
Yeah.
And he gets rewarded with this made shot and looks like an absolute idiot as he sticks his leg out to try to get someone to bump into it.
Yep.
And then falls down because no one actually bumped into him.
Part of the
real Anthony Davis stuff from Karl Anthony Towns.
One of the pandemonium plays with about let's see. I don't know. This is within the last 2 minutes. Everything happened in the last 2 minutes. Was the Towns like where he was getting bumped the entire time where he came from the corner. He's just getting fouled and fouled and fouled and fouled and fouled and fouled the entire time. And then he travels and then he finally does get off a shot like opposite footed up against Wembanyama and it somehow flies in. And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that happened. There wasn't going to be any whistles that affected.
Yeah, there was a lot of not called on every side.
They just let it.
I was thinking about that late in the game. I was thinking about if that was a college basketball game, I would already be dreading about how the game was going to end because I know it would end in a sort of controversial way with a bad call or some horrible mismanagement or whatever it is. I guess we did have the horrible mismanagement part, but I knew that game wasn't headed that direction just because there was going to be no ref impeding on that situation at all because of just the game and how it went.
I think their entire role in the last like 2 minutes was just to hand the ball to whoever was standing out of bounds.
100%. 100%.
That was the role. I didn't have any real problem with that either. I mean,
I don't either. I like it.
They let him play as they were going to let him play. And
well, I was thinking like, so what crossed my mind was with 2.5 to go or something like that. I'm like, I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, God, I gotta go to bed. If this game goes to overtime, I'm in trouble. Or how long is this going to take? And then in college basketball terms, the last 2.5 minutes obviously would take like 32 minutes.
About 25 minutes.
But then
basically.
it wasn't college basketball. It actually took like 8 minutes, which was nice.
What's nice.
It was great.
It was nice.
What a game. What a game last night. We will continue to touch on that as we go on throughout the show today. Happy College World Series Eve to all who celebrate. We should get these storms cleared out of here and have a nice day for practice down at the ballpark today. Appreciate you being with us. Brian Christopherson's going to join the show from Husker 247 coming up at 8:30. Max Olson at 9:15. I wonder what we'll talk about with Max.
I did an entire podcast with Max. Guess what we talked about?
Exciting. Very, very exciting. Also, it's Thursday. I Have an Opinion is coming up today as well. Send in your opinions to us at Happen Shape on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Also, hit us up 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Call or text that number. Email Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers this morning. That's right, 1620 The Zone is live on YouTube. You can find us there or the video stream at 1620thezone.com. Off and running on a Thursday morning on Happer Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Thursday morning on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. This week's half-off deal is to Stories Coffee. 5 $10 vouchers for just $25 to Stories tomorrow at 9 on 1620thezone.com. Also, Matt will have your chance to win $50 worth of gift vouchers on his show this week. So, once again, that is the half-off deal. Stories Coffee Company. Delicious coffee for you, folks, with several Omaha store locations, 5 of them actually to be exact. Friday at 9, 1620thezone.com. Also, your chance to win Funplex tickets today. If you just send in a question to I Have an Opinion at Happen Shafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that I guess Joey's got it on. I thought you had it on too, but you don't. Look at these. Remember our Yacht Rock hats? They now turned into 1620 The Zone hats. Rope hats. The Rope Hat boys.
They're all the craze.
They're all the craze. We didn't hear you because your mic wasn't on.
No, my bad.
Don't worry, turn it on.
They're all the craze.
You seem excited about it. Hooray!
Hooray!
All right.
I am excited about having a 1620 The Zone hat. I looked at yours with jealousy for a long time. Just yesterday, I got a 1620 The Zone shirt. So my 1620 The Zone merch has gone way up. Hooray!
You have a 1620 The Zone polo.
I do have that, yeah.
That's a great polo.
It is a great
It's
polo.
nice.
I got that last year just completely randomly. I was in here and Stacy came in and she's like, "Are you going to do any shows for us at the CWS?" And I was like, "Yes." She's like, "Here." And tosses me the shirt and walks out.
Take this.
It's a great polo.
Peasant.
Like a genuinely great polo.
It's a great polo.
So I appreciated that last year. I'll be rocking that tomorrow when I will be doing Happer and Schaefer in the morning with Michael Severe.
And
you can catch me and Matt McMaster at the Omaha Baseball Village doing
when?
a bunch of CWS shows.
When?
Starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Going until the first game, so 12:45 or
12:40.
12:40, which I don't know the exact.
12:40.
I'll learn
Yeah,
these things.
12:40.
We'll come back after the conclusion of the first game and then do a show in between to get you ready for the second game.
That's 3 shows.
I sent Matt an idea that I'm pretty excited about. We're going to predict every major sporting event, starting with the CWS. We're going to track all of it. And then when we do this again next year, we'll reveal the results and see who did the best.
That's awesome. I heard Matt talking about how he had like a bunch of topics.
He sent some.
Okay, for the College
there.
World Series. Just he just had a doc going. He was just adding stuff to it.
There's
I don't
one
know
that
what
says
those
say something nice about the other person's favorite team. And I just don't have anything nice to say about the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I don't think that exists.
They have a beautiful new home, I guess, is where I was.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, that's just going to turn into a. I mean, maybe this
He's
is the
just going to
point.
get mad.
It's just going to get a sarcastic. It's
Yeah,
going to be a sarcastic.
I don't know if
segment.
he earnestly expects me to say something nice or not.
He has to know that you're not going to.
Maybe I'll look up something about the Blackhawks and surprise him.
The Bulls. He was excited. He was excited about.
He was
Bulls.
excited in October about the Bulls. I remember like sending him text and be like, "You should calm down." Right?
It went away in 10 seconds.
They had a good start, and then it went all bad.
And then by December, he was grieving.
And they sent us a bad player.
So that is all beginning tomorrow with the College World Series. Schaefer is taking on a lot, so we thank him for that. Thank you.
It'll be great. I'm excited for tomorrow. I love the first day of the College World Series.
Great take by you.
I mentioned this when we had Lauren on the other day. I love the first couple days of the elimination games because there's just like a little extra tension and atmosphere in the air, and especially if you get one of the bigger brands kind of having to fight for their life right out of the gate.
Yeah,
and you can
Which you
sense
will.
it from the fan base immediately as they're like pouring into the stadium that day.
There will be some
So
tough. Those days are really difficult. Sunday is the first elimination day this year. There will be some. It's always tough to come back. You know, it's always tough to come back after all the energy and the emotion of the first day. So, but tomorrow is indeed the first day. We are very happy to bring that to you here on 1620 The Zone, and we'll have more on that as we go on throughout the show today. Here's a basketball email from Steve on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Steve writes in, he says, Connor, I concur with what Charles Barkley said on Inside the NBA following the game. Quote, the Spurs are the dumbest team in the history of civilization. Do we have that clip somewhere?
There was a lot of not winning basketball
Oh, no, it was rough.
in that.
It was
Like,
rough.
not a great look for the coach, not a great look for the team. I get that they're young,
A lot of
but there's just a lot of like, you don't do this even in middle school.
Scoring 30 after a 76
well, that
point
in
first half,
itself
that's
is-
just crazy.
yeah, that's the outcome of all the stupidity, though. The
Well,
stupidity.
Stop taking 85 3-pointers
Exactly.
in
Yeah,
the second half.
they
Like,
just kept jacking those up.
yeah, it was bad.
And then there were a lot of comparisons to the Atlanta Falcons last
Yeah, that
night.
Oh
was-
yeah,
The what was it, 81-52 or
81-52.
yeah, 81-52 with
that's
9
the new
minutes.
28-3.
It's not. I appreciate what the people are doing, but it's not. 28-3 is just so memorable.
A very different sport, much harder to do what
Yeah.
the Patriots did.
Also, the NBA. I mean, there's
Has
like a
40 of
90.
these. Yeah.
There's like a 90% chance
Yeah.
that every game is going to be a one possession game at the end, just because it doesn't even matter. There's so many big comebacks in the NBA. Like if you watch
the
an
stupid
NBA
Knicks
regular,
are involved in like a dozen of them every playoff.
if you watch an NBA regular season game, I mean, there's like routinely 30-point comebacks. It happens just all the
Yep.
time, and nobody even notices it.
because nobody actually pays attention to the NBA until now.
No, but like even the people in the building, they're just like, oh well, yeah, weren't we down by a lot in this game, and then we're making
I've
every
just been
basket now.
Zoning out because this in-house DJ has been killing it during the game.
He's yelling too
30-point lead in the NBA is like a 5-point lead in today's day and age. Back in the day, it felt like a 100-point game because three pointers
I mean,
weren't a
people can make
factor.
it those-
It's probably not 5, but it's not far off. It's like it from what we're used to.
Is 25 the new 5
Is-
in the NBA?
Is 30 the new 5? People are wondering. Anyway, Steve continues. He says, Mitch Johnson getting badly outcoached too. I think the meltdown began in the third quarter. Why the heck were they continually shooting threes? For
Great
7
question.
minutes and 20 seconds of the third, they went 0 for 8 from 3-point, 1 for 6 from the field, were 4 for 4 from the line. They only managed 14 points in the third quarter. They were coming out of timeouts in the second half, making boneheaded plays too. It has got to be one of the bigger, if not the biggest collapses or meltdown I have ever witnessed in professional sports. There were many colossal blunders in this game, but most notably one with 13 and a half seconds left. The Aaron Fox, not pulling it out. That shot got blocked. The final play was what was Wembanyama doing out on the top of the key, along with Fox guarding Brunson rather than guarding the rim. I really enjoyed watching the NBA championship history being made. What a game, Steve. P.S. Go Knicks. says
I don't
Steve.
have a problem with Wembanyama being at the top of the key there.
Well, he's
much
on Brunson.
harder of a deterrent.
He had
for-
been on
yeah.
Brunson for the entire game.
So I
And-
don't have a problem
yeah.
with that. Like, that just happened how it happened. Like, I would rather my best defender make it as difficult for their best shooter or the guy who's going to shoot it. I don't know if he's their best shooter or not.
There are two different
Yeah.
thoughts of how you do that, because you're so sure that Brunson's going to have the ball in his hands. There's just no doubt about it. Brunson's going to have the ball in his hands. And so do you want to physically displace him, or do you just want to make it really hard to shoot? And they went with the really hard to shoot one. Wembanyama was not in great position though.
No.
He was too far away from Brunson by the time he
Well,
shot
he
it.
thought he was going to try to go deeper to the rim.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And so that's why Brunson took the 40-footer.
You could have put Castle on him and just have chased him around, and done that thing or whatever.
But the other thing is the other three guys for the Spurs, your entire job is to just pick up a body. You don't need to touch the basketball when it's in the air because the clock is running either way.
Well,
your job is to prevent someone else from touching the basketball.
I can't remember who it was. They brought the guy who would have been on the inbounder over to help on
Yep.
Brunson, and then all of a sudden OG's flying to the rim,
Sure.
untethered. It was
But nobody's
Fox.
looking to
Of all people, it was Fox.
Nobody in basketball anymore looks to pick a guy up as they're running to the rim. Like everyone turns and jumps straight up. Like that's what basketball has
Especially in
become.
late game situations like this. Like you're like, all we need to do is get a rebound. All we
Nobody
do is
even
get a
needs to
rebound.
touch the ball. Like
Yeah.
you just need it to not go in and then check them out of being able to do anything.
God, there's so many things. I cannot wait.
There
for
was
the,
another moment where someone's throwing it to Castle and his back is just turned. I
Yeah.
swear I've seen more passes from the Spurs to a player who is not looking in this series than you will see normally in a 7-game series ever.
add that to the end of game 2.
Yeah, no, I mean that was It was earlier. It was like the third quarter, and they were across half court, and he starts cutting to the basket when the pass goes to him and just goes right out of bounds. It's like, what?
Oh,
Do you remember this?
I think the Knicks were playing full court press, and then once the Spurs get past half
They
court, I think it was
dropped off.
they kind of put a lot of pressure, and then no one was paying attention. One of the guys just threw the ball right in out
Yeah.
of bounds. I have a curious question. Do you guys notice players just passing the ball sideways as they are just passing the half court line? Why is that a thing in the NBA where players are just passing the half court line and then just passing it sideways?
I think
'Cause we-
specifically in this series, the defense has been so unimpeded by the threat of foul calls
Right.
that you're just trying to find any space you possibly can to get the ball out of your hands. Like that's my best guess. I agree with you, Joey, that there has been a lot of that.
Because I think the Spurs had a couple turnovers, backcourt violations, where they're just passing the ball right to the side as they are just passing through the half court line.
Yeah, they don't seem to really
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
Part of it-
they're not the only team. I've seen several teams do it as well.
part of it is the moment too. I mean, the moment of like
Oh, the moment got to the Spurs and ate them away.
Mhm.
Like, there's no question on that.
Yeah.
It kind of did to the Knicks too, and you know, they just got away with it more. If you would. Like, they had some really questionable decisions as well, or just bad breaks. I can't believe that layup, the back iron on that thing.
I know.
Where he's kind of caught in between where he can't really dunk it and he's got to try to lay it up, but they always tell you to not do it over the front of the rim like that because of that back iron, to put it off the glass. And man,
There was like some huge plays from Jose Alvarado in that game.
Yeah, I was thinking about that,
It's like,
too.
what is going on?
Jose Alvarado does not sound like he's a basketball player for the Knicks. That's
Jose
what I think of
Alvarado-
every time.
He's
I
a
was
great
always like,
defender.
Jose Alvarado should be playing for the Yankees in some profession.
He had that one playoff with the Pelicans a few years ago where he was just killing everybody. Like
I
he
have
had,
no memory of Jose Alvarado's greatest playoff.
you got to check that out. It was great.
He's a heck of a defender.
It was great.
I
times.
think it was the Warriors he gave serious headaches.
It was just him against like the Warriors. Yeah, it was awesome. All right, we'll take a break right at the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. Here's a tweet from the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed from Whopper. Jose Alvarado is a shortstop for the Rangers who had a 15-year career but zero remarkable stats, like a 245, 7, and 63 slash cut type of guy, not a hooper. Au contraire, Whopper. He was hooping last night.
You could convince me that Jose Alvarado had the same career as like Royce Clayton, and I would believe it.
Nice.
You know?
Good one.
That's that makes a ton of sense to me. If you're trying to convince me that Jose Alvarado was a key figure in the Knicks NBA title run, that is going to be a much harder sell.
You'll learn today, or at least yesterday. 3-1 Knicks in the NBA Finals. I figured we could just round out the hour with making fun of celebrities and their reactions to the game last night.
It added to the whole thing.
It really did. So let me tell you this. I have been in Madison Square Garden for a big game before, in a slanted home crowd big game, right? It was a St. John's Big East final, right? And they wanted it bad. And it was the loudest building I've been in, point blank period, ever. And it didn't felt like it took that much.
Yeah.
I cannot even fathom what last night was. It's probably that times like 6. I have no idea.
It sounded, like I said, it sounded incredible on the television.
And then you get to the last moments of the game and it doesn't sound like that anymore because it's not this like build up roar. It's almost like just delirium.
Yeah.
And it was like when Frager made the layup in Oklahoma City, you know, like that game was so loud and so intense and the entire thing. And then he made the layup and it just like kind of all got drowned out. And it was just like, just delirium, the entire place. And the celebrities contributed to the delirium last night. They went through all the camera shots of all the celebrities. Jerry Seinfeld just staring off into space like, oh my God, what happened? And then, you know, did you have a favorite of the celebrity reactions?
I am not, based on his NFL calling, like a huge fan of Kirk Herbstreit on Thursday Night Football. I did get a kick out of he's there with his son. Like you can tell this is like a big father-son moment. And he
got mentioned on the broadcast.
He's super into it. Like he's super into the game, which I really actually appreciate. Because sometimes you like see people that are like in those seats that are just looking at their phone the entire time. He's over here like crouched down like a coach. He's like does the kind of like back and move his arms up and like create space for himself.
So that was the craziest thing.
We had the thing where he's hitting his son and he's pointing something out to him as the play's going on.
It would be a great watch to go back and watch the last 2 minutes of that game and only watch the people who were in the first couple rows in the courtside seats. Because I swear to God, we had celebrities in defensive stances. Yeah. They were getting down, hunched over, hands on knees, like slapping the floor. Like these are people who do not care about basketball at all.
And it only added to what was just an absolutely bonkers, weird sporting event that I feel super fortunate that I just sit down with my computer to help like put together the show for tomorrow. And otherwise I might have missed this.
Yeah.
And I'm super glad I didn't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'd like to hear from somebody who just
turned it off,
who gave up, you know, who actually invested some time in checking this out and then quit.
I think a particular producer did such a thing last night. He mentioned on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I saw Josh's tweet. Johnson.
Oh no.
He's like, well, really wish I wouldn't have given up on that game before the fourth quarter.
It's hard to blame him for it.
I know, but
how could you do that with the big New York Knicks?
Sense early in the fourth that you needed to stick around for this thing. Not saying that I thought the Knicks were going to win. I didn't think they were going to win until that tip.
We were close. For me, we were pretty close. Yeah. I was already writing the
I watched that happen
on the sheet.
I screenshotted it because it made me laugh.
We were getting close. And
they came back down 22 in the fourth quarter against the Cavs. It was a much larger deficit at the start of the fourth quarter than
the Knicks
it was.
are involved in these games all the time.
Yeah.
With the Pacers, with
absolutely.
the Cavs, with
Absolutely.
They did it earlier didn't they do it to the Hawks or something in the first round? They did. They had a big comeback in the first round.
Yeah, they did.
Too.
Yeah, they were sort of sloppy in the first round. Yeah. And then, well, still without losing a game anyway. But, yep, crazy game last night. And we'll sort of build around that off that today. Hopefully that sets the tone for the weekend in other sports, which we have a heck of a weekend coming up. We will come back 7:00 hour rolls on, and Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. 7 o'clock here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer and Joey Warcola this morning and every morning, except for the next several mornings where I will.
Yeah, this is your last morning for a week, basically.
Just a week, yeah.
It's our vacation from Connor,
be
Mike.
back next Friday.
I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
thought the Big East tournament was our vacation from Connor.
Well, that was not supposed
One
to
of
be
our
the
many
case.
vacations from
It
Connor.
was an unplanned Connor vacation.
Unplanned vacation from Connor.
We got to figure out a city of the day for tomorrow.
I know. I just texted Severe City of the Day tomorrow to see if he had one right off the top.
Why don't you do New York, New York?
I feel like you need to be here for that.
I do.
You care a lot about New
I
York.
do.
No,
we
we-
would
we-
make that a 20-minute segment.
We got to save that for the Big East tournament when you guys go to the games.
You think we're going
next-
to make it all the way until March to do New York for City of the Day?
Probably.
I
it
think it's
happens
possible.
once a week, and it seems like a pretty easy
We-
thing
we-
to
we-
There are
find
lots
out.
of other cities.
We need to expand it. Most of the cities we've done have been east of here. We've only done.
Do you want to go west? Do you want to demand that we go west?
Go west, young man.
We don't have to this week. I think we can make it related to the CWS. Some of the teams that are in there. I had a particular
Well, there's
one
nobody
in
west
mind.
of here.
Yeah, they're all in the southeast.
I
Joey.
know.
They're exactly in the area where you
I
don't
know.
want.
I know.
Joey's got an idea. Go ahead, Joey. Tell him.
I was thinking Morgantown.
Which is east,
Yeah,
but
this again. I thought we were
But
supposed
it's,
to go
it's
west.
I know.
Unless we're going so far west that we've now circled the earth. to
oh,
come back.
you went west
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
entire
yeah.
world to get
Yes.
to Morgantown.
Okay.
I got it.
Joey's always playing games.
Going across the Pacific.
Interesting idea.
I think Morgantown is a fair idea. It's topical. They play
We'll see
on
what
Friday.
we'll see what
Pat
Severe's cooking.
McAfee's coming to town. We'll see if he wants to call in.
We've hit a lot in that area. That
Yeah, no,
specific
it's-
area of the
It's
country.
not even
Like-
college football season where you could also have more of that.
right.
too.
Yeah. I mean, we
So-
did Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is like an hour away from that. You know.
Yeah.
We could. I don't know. You guys could do. You guys. Could
We'll figure it out. We'll come up with something.
somewhere in the mountains. Somewhere in west of the mountains.
I don't hate that idea, but
Somewhere in the
I want to have
mountains.
like some reason for why it's chosen, not just like randomly throwing in darts.
I agree with you there. By the way, we got a text from before. Actually, a couple that I want to get to. Here's Gus Mohawk. Fun fact: did you know that the court of Madison Square Garden is on the 5th floor? I did not know that till yesterday. Yes, I can confirm. It's very odd, but it's true.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, when players arrive to the arena, they are on ground level and they have to go up a steep ramp that's like about 150 some steps.
It's sizable. There is a train station, a giant train station below the arena called Penn Station, and there's like
one
a
of
whole.
the biggest stations in the entire country.
There's like a whole.
Penn
like-
Station's pretty cool.
There's like a mall down there.
Yeah.
You know, like this is all happening below Madison Square Garden. I saw that tweet going around last night. I'm like, yeah, I knew this. You could have learned this in my Madison Square Garden tour video that I did 2 years ago. But I guess that guy
should
didn't
have
watch
dusted that video off and re-released it for the NBA Finals.
I really should have.
Yeah. We're like, hey, celebrities that have never been here but are lifelong New York Knicks fans now.
Could have got some more
Here's
views.
how you get around the arena.
I could have got some more views.
You really could have.
That would have been
Missed
a good idea.
opportunity.
A text. We were searching for people who maybe had started to watch the game and then turned it off once they weren't interested anymore. Here's a text from the 402. Watch the whole pregame and then the first half. And then I switched over to 2009 Packers Cardinals wild card game.
Oh no, disaster.
Shout out to Steve
Great
Breston
game.
and Beanie Wells. What in the hell is this guy on?
Just a tremendously entertaining game.
Why do you go? People do this all the time. They just go back and like, the sports aren't good on television, so I'll go back and watch a different sports.
It makes sense in that he like left a game that he thought stunk and then went to a classic game that he knows has a crazy ending result. And so he's clearly just going off of I want sports.
He
It
needed
doesn't
his
have to be
fix.
live. I want to be entertained.
I want a great finish.
Yeah. And he passed up a better finish for what was still a pretty outstanding way to see the Packers leave the playoffs.
Disaster.
John writes in, he says, I wanted to see Ranby do the weather and go to bed last night, but instead I had to wait an extra half hour for that garbage basketball game to get over.
That would have been hilarious if the weather popped up like that
in.
at that moment.
I get irrationally frustrated watching either the Stanley Cup game or the NBA Finals game because this is the perfect time of year. And so pretty much 50 to 75% of the nights there's going to be some sort of weather alert in the viewing area, and it will come up.
Yep.
Every single time.
I had an opportunity to put my car in the garage during the Celtics finals 2 years ago during that really bad hailstorm during game 3. And I did not take Bill Ranby's advice when he popped in. And then there's that little box with the Celtics Mavs game on there.
Always
hail damage.
Always take Ranby's advice, folks. All right. As we move on here, we're plenty to cover here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Welcome to Omaha, everyone. If you're listening for the first time, hopefully you enjoyed the lovely storms that we had last night.
Yeah.
We were woken up.
What a greeting. Hooray.
What time did the storm wake you up? For me, it was like 4:34, I think. Something crashed.
Yeah, it was 4:30. I wake up at 4:30, but that's when I started hearing the thunder.
The lightning, so you have like the blockout shades or whatever, but they're cut to the window well, so there's still a little gaps in there.
Bit.
The lightning was so strong that it like woke me up coming through the little gap in an otherwise darkened room.
Something
around probably the first time I woke up was probably 4:15, and I finally got up a little after 4:15.
Something banged, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
It was loud.
I took some precaution to tie up some of my things last night. It was
I didn't take any precaution. I just left it all out.
And I was happy to my now not dirt lawn was happy to get all the
You
rain.
don't have a dirt pond anymore.
No.
You might just have a grass pond.
No pond at all.
Wow.
This
runoff
fake
is
grass.
great.
This fake grass is very much enjoying all this rain.
Yeah, I think I told you that. I don't think it was on air, but I think I mentioned to you that I hadn't turned my sprinklers on yet, and I was finally going to do that because it was just hot enough. And so I turn them on. I run them manually or whatever Tuesday, and then they're set to go. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I think.
Yep.
My old system had a sensor that if it rained, it just didn't run them.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped outside this morning. Sure enough, there's my new sprinkler system.
I always laugh.
Just running, and it's just downpouring.
Because most people have them on to go on at 5 or 5:30 or 6 or something like that. And I always laugh every time it's raining. It's like, well, you don't need to turn those on. I don't
understand why there's no sensor for this. Like I had it on my other one.
There might be. You just have to like turn it on or something.
This is like a super high-end sprinkler system.
Ooh.
I feel like a moron trying to read the directions.
Sprinkling
this thing out. So I was actually somewhat happy to see that it was on, that I managed to accomplish that.
I had done something.
That I didn't have to sit there and manually do it like I did on Tuesday to make sure all the sprinkler heads popped up.
Right. Even though it was useless because you got the rain.
It was plenty wet.
That was necessary. So aside from the NBA Finals and the College World Series and the World Cup and whatever else is going on in sports right now.
Stanley Cup Finals.
Sorry. My apologies to my friends in the NHL. We also have this big college athletics story that's going on right now that you may have heard us talk about over the last couple of days, referring to the Brendan Sorbet story.
You know, the afternoon show's claiming that they invented Brendan Sorbet.
What? Wait, really?
Yeah.
When?
They claim they did it on Tuesday afternoon.
Oh,
this is what
did they?
I don't know. I'm just going off of what Josh said. And so he
believe
was trying
them?
to say that yesterday's Brendan Sorbet from us was a product of their afternoon show.
That I can confirm is not true.
I agree. I'm just saying that there's territorial dispute.
Well, I guess I can't speak for. I can only speak for myself. I hadn't heard it until you said it. I thought it was really funny. I don't know where you got it.
I hadn't heard it at all.
Okay.
And so then I said it. And I don't know why I said it. I just did.
We got a tweet last night from Mark, who tweeted into us at Happenchafe. This is
the guy who changed his last name because no one could pronounce it.
Really?
I was telling you about this.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
He's gone by the wrong last name for the last 20 years.
8:00 last night, like 10 hours after the show ended. Been craving sorbet all day. Thanks, Mike Schaefer. Fantastic. So
sorbet always does sound pretty good.
There is this story going on right now in sports. And now what's happening is the folks involved outside of Mr. Sorbet are talking.
Who's wisely not talking, which is good.
Great call by him.
Yeah.
The rest of the folks should take his advice, because every word that is coming out of anyone's mouth involved with this, trying to defend it, is getting worse and worse every second of the day. Cody Campbell yesterday doing some chatting with Dan Dockich, which always smart to do. Go on Dan Dockich's show and talk about him, talk with him about things. And then there was Joey McGuire, which I don't know the setting of this, some sort of clinic or event or something like that. And he has to take the stage and obviously address the elephant in the room. Here's how it sounded from Texas Tech head football coach Joey McGuire yesterday, talking about the situation that he has now embroiled himself in.
Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against, and it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, so there's a lot of things that we're working through.
Joey. I love Joey McGuire, so this has been tough for me because he was great to work with in terms of recruiting.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time, I showed up with Max Olson in 2013, and he gave us an hour and a half of time just hanging out at Cedar High School or Cedar Hill High School, and so I have a ton of respect for that guy and what he's accomplished. And I think he's a great coach, and I think he's a great fit at Texas Tech. Everyone is so willfully blinded by what this can do for them if he plays.
I know.
We understand this isn't murder. The reason that people are against it is that gambling on sports that you're playing in has been taboo since before any of us were born.
Yeah, it's a rule.
Anyone
it's a
asks
rule.
out of their sports contests, other than they want their team to win, is for it to be
fair,
on the up and up.
Yeah.
There's a reason that pro wrestling is derided as scripted or fake or whatever. Or I got a text earlier this morning that the NBA is scripted, or that you'll have people tell you that the NFL season is scripted, or all, and they're saying it in jest, but the idea being people want authentic and real. And when you put the doubt in the mind of the viewers, of the fans, of the participants, of the administrators, we don't know what Brendan Sorsby is doing because he's already shown a careless disregard for the rules that are clearly stated. He's gambled more than 35, 40 times on teams of which he's playing on, something that has been stated many times that he can't do. He took 7 continuing, education against gambling courses throughout his time in college athletics. He has played multiple years beyond when he first started gambling, so he's already received an incredible benefit of the doubt. And then you stand up there and you say this as if you're trying to gaslight us into feeling sympathy for the situation that he's going. Yeah, it's not murder. And yes, many people have done worse things
in the world.
Worse,
yes,
in criminal things,
yes,
than what Brendan Sorsby did. And he may have an addiction. Talking about it and parading him around and citing mental health doesn't seem like that's going to help his addiction.
It keeps getting they keep going down that line. As far as the defensive,
there's other defense
is concerned. Right. Yeah.
The easier thing really to do defense.
The easier thing to do, and
that's like a wink defense.
So their argument, would be directly against this point, which is the easier thing to do is just to say, look, man, there's nothing we could do for you. This is it. And they would say, no, we want to wrap our arms around him because he's an addict and we have to give him the right, tools to help himself, which is true and honorable and something that they should do because he chose Texas Tech as an institution where he wants to play his football next year, as if money wasn't a factor in any of this stuff. But let's just say, but he went to Texas Tech because he loves Texas Tech and he wants to be in Lubbock. Sure, wrap your arms around him, give him the help he needs. Doesn't mean he has to play.
Right.
Like he can be there. He's allowed to be there, even though I think his presence.
Let him stay on the
distraction.
team. Let him be involved with your organization.
Give him the resources that he needs.
Don't put him into play
to get better. And yet here they are fighting for his eligibility, fighting for his ability to actually play in the football games, which can't happen. It just cannot happen. And I don't know if it will. But you're going to keep hearing arguments for this, and they're going to keep being worse and worse and worse. Every angle to this I hear keeps getting more just icky. Like it's just disgusting to me because I don't feel like they, I don't know
truly care about Brendan Sorsby.
Well, they can only see it from their perspective,
right?
And their perspective, like you should probably go through some lengths to look at it through some other perspectives. That'd be my advice to them.
There is a world where Cody Campbell and Joey McGuire and Kirby Holcutt are joining everyone else in deriding LSU for attempting to get Brendan Sorbet the opportunity to play in 2026 through a Baton Rouge judge. Because if he goes to LSU and this whole scenario plays out, and then they become this team that's persona non grata, there's no way that Joey McGuire and Holcutt or Cody Campbell are saying any of the things that they would be saying on Sorsby's behalf if he wasn't playing at Texas Tech.
No way.
That's where
they're joining the boycotts with everybody else. They're joining on. And so for Joey McGuire, not only to say, obviously the grabby quote from the thing I just played was the murder part, which rightfully so. We need to talk about.
He had a more vacant stare than Wembanyama on those free throws, by the way. That's a guy who knows that he's saying a bunch of BS.
He's buckling a little bit. But I think one of the I forgot what I was going to say on that point then. But there was a lot of different things from what he said in that quote and what he's been saying this entire time that just really, really either aren't true and he knows they're not true and lack the perspective that anybody would want in this situation.
It amazes me because there's a way that if you were Texas Tech and this happens, like you could have handled it better from a PR perspective, they've kind of towed this a little bit, but they could have leaned more into this where it's been like, we supported Brendan in his decision to try to pursue eligibility in this matter. We still have to make decisions internally if he's the right quarterback for us, given everything that we know right now.
Yeah.
You could have easily done that, punted some of this down the road.
But their whole thing now,
they double,
put
triple,
on
quadruple down.
This is the attitude that I think is started by Cody Campbell. He's like, this is who we are now. We are Mavericks in this thing. And like I said to Sam yesterday, I think they like it a little bit. They probably don't like that. There's
no way Joey McGuire likes
this is the exact situation, but I do think they like the idea of like, everyone's against us and screw them. And just because we're Texas Tech and people don't want us to have success and all, because we have Cody Campbell and we're doing all these things and we made this jump. They don't want to see us win and stuff like that. It's a really, really egotistical way to look at what's going on right now. And for Joey McGuire to say not only the murder part, but also the part where he's like, I don't understand why this is the thing that everybody is is completely against us on. Really? You don't?
Yeah. I just so disingenuous.
Because we got that a couple times yesterday from people who's like, really, it's not the whole it's not murder thing. Like there's not only one crime in the world, okay? It's not murder or nothing. This is not a binary 0-1-0-1 deal. If every crime was murder or not murder, then we'd be having a conversation right
we've
now.
had people sitting out because of weed, which is not murder,
Right.
which is legal in some states in our great union.
Poll question, is weed murder? No, it's not. It's different.
So
We don't understand this
Yeah,
for some reason. And people like this keep perpetuating this crap, and we get dumber and dumber every day for it.
well,
Every day.
and we'll see. We'll see if Brett Yormark and the Big 12 have anything that they can actually do, which remains a question. If they have the ability to suspend him that can supersede the injunction, if they have some kind of clause in their bylaws of the Big 12 that give them the ability to do that. I think that's your best option if to not see Sorbet on the field this year.
So I've been hearing this a lot, and I've always thought about. So Doug in Idaho writes in on YouTube. He says, "You guys are full boat against Sorbet, by the way, that's his name, but never took a stand against gambling being shoved down our throats and becoming so prevalent on broadcasts and stadiums, etc. The NCAA took the money,
It's actually not true,
and opened the door." So, right, little bit of revisionist history here. First of all, we understood the consequences at the time, like opening the door. Also, these are two separate.
Yeah.
These are two completely separate deals that we are talking about here. It is not illegal to promote gambling, and you ultimately are responsible for the actions that you take. And when you are a student athlete and when you are involved in one of these things, very simply put, you have different rules than everybody else. That's it.
Yeah.
I can talk. I could talk about gambling. I could promote gambling if I wanted to, or if I'm paid to, or whatever it is. Because I am not a player. I am not the quarterback of the football team. I don't get what people don't get about this.
You haven't had 7 courses of education about gambling dictated to you by the NCAA because that's part of your job. You don't sign paperwork every single semester saying that you won't be involved with gambling because that's part of your job or your lifestyle.
And by the way, we don't talk about like lines every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
What
annoys me about that, though, is that I have 100% spent time on this show complaining about the pervasive nature of there being gambling everywhere, that sometimes you just want to watch sports without having it all over. I understand there's ads currently where I'm talking about the World Cup coming up and how you can get your sweat on with that if you choose to.
Sure.
I get that. Like,
it is not hypocritical to be doing these things at the same time.
I don't think that it is, because again, we're not in a position where it's told no, or everyone knows going in, you aren't supposed to do this. You aren't supposed to gamble on your university. You can gamble on other stuff.
Yeah. Like, I don't need to have a legal disclaimer in every ad that I do for whatever sports book it is that says, Brandon Sorbet, you can't do this. It'd be funny if I did, but that would be making light of a situation.
Yeah.
But that's not that person's responsibility.
And neither of us are opposed to gambling as it is anyway.
Sure.
So it's like,
I don't need it all the time in my life.
Our opposition is that we think someone who knowingly broke the rules more than 35 times while signing all sorts of paperwork and sitting through these classes should not get the benefit of the doubt that he should continue to play football when he's already gotten 3 seasons of football that he shouldn't have played anyways for breaking all of these rules. And then he continued to gamble when he went to Texas Tech. This isn't an isolated one-off incident. This isn't someone who made a wrong turn and asked for a mea culpa. This is someone who knowingly broke the rules every single time and continued to get away with it for 3 seasons. Look, I don't think there's a apt comparison being made here of these things.
He can, at the same time, need help and not be allowed to play football.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all anybody is arguing. And
I hope he gets help.
Yeah.
There's real gambling addicts out there.
Yeah.
Their lives are horrible. Truly.
It's hard.
I feel for those people. I don't want this to be a fake story of him.
Yeah, I don't want to throw him out. I don't want to chew him up and spit him out here. But he can't play.
Gets whatever help he actually needs. I don't think he's going to be getting that help if he's shoved front and center of Texas Tech's football operation because this is their best chance to win a national title.
I think, yes, that is the real angering piece of the story. That is the real emotionally, that's what draws the emotion for me out of this story. It's not so much that it happened and that he gets to play or that he's going to play or he got the injunction or whatever it is. It's the defense that they are using to try and make that happen and of him. The direction that they've taken. And it's a lot of whataboutism, and it's not murder. No, it's not. But there are other things, you know, and so that's what sort of is the frustrating part, I think, for a lot of folks here. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We can take your phone calls or whatever it might be on the other side on 1620 The Zone. All right, stay tuned. I Have an Opinion is coming up in half hour, so get those opinions in, and you could have a chance to win some Funplex tickets for the summer. All you have to do is submit an opinion. Easiest way to do it is at HappenSchafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. I got a few tweets here that I do want to get to, but phone eats first, as we always say. To the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline we go. It's Random Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, I'm not your dear friend anymore.
Did I not say dear friend? Sorry. You are a dear friend.
I appreciate that. This will be less random than usual, and I know you'll be the judge of that. With the Knicks and the gambling, the Knicks, I go back. I'm a kid in Chicago, very young kid. My dad takes me to a White Sox game, okay? And this was a big thrill for me. And the pitcher for the White Sox was a fairly young guy, power pitcher named Dave DeBusschere. Okay. Next thing I know, in the following winter, I learned that he's the player coach of the Detroit Pistons. Next thing I know, he's traded to the Knicks, and he became kind of the missing link to the great Knicks teams. And I guess they've only won 2 championships. Am I right? Over the years?
I think that is right. Yeah, I don't know the number specifically.
And it was the Knicks with DeBusschere and Willis Reed. So during one of the breaks this morning on this phone, I thought I'm going to look at DeBusschere's Hall of Fame speech. He's introduced by Willis Reed, former coach of Creighton. Okay, if you followed DeBusschere, he was a fantastic player. And he was voted one of the top 50 players ever. I mean, just fantastic. But imagine being a player coach in your 20s of an NBA team while you're also a Major League Baseball player. And he had a strong arm, but he never played long enough to kind of remind you of a young Roger Clemens. Okay, so watching all these celebrities with how much are they paying for these seats? I mean, incredible amounts, and how excited they were. And these are a lot of New Yorkers that love this team so much. And it's kind of like with Nebraska basketball, the excitement. And you mentioned it, but about the gambling, I haven't followed this Sorsby case very well, but I keep thinking of Pete Rose. And remember all the controversy, should he be allowed in the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball? But he never bet against his team. And Keith Olbermann, a baseball fanatic, went through every game he managed to see if his gambling ever affected the outcome of the game. And he couldn't find any evidence of it all. Did Sorsby bet against his team?
No.
He only bet on Indiana, or player props, more likely is what he bet.
Okay, so when Joey McGuire, isn't he the great buddy of Matt Rule?
He is.
And Schaefer, you mentioned personally you really like the guy. So when he talks about it ain't murder, to me, that's relevant in the sense that it makes a huge difference whether you're betting for your team or against your team. Didn't Nebraska have a transfer from Iowa in basketball that had a tremendous number of bets, and we wanted him to play? Am I right?
Well, yeah, but there's no evidence to suggest he bet on any teams he played on.
Right. He just bet when he wasn't supposed to.
But to me, it makes a big difference if you bet on your team to win, and you're not affecting the game. And I understand there's spreads and all that, but to me, that does make a big difference. I don't know if it does to you guys. If he never affected the outcome of the game, and I realize there ought to be a penalty. But remember, last time I called, I mentioned that Arizona State baseball player where the penalty was just so extreme. And at first you guys said, oh, he ought to be kicked out of the game immediately. And then after I said a few things, you said, well, you would have been okay with a warning. There's a big difference between the two. This guy definitely ought to be a penalty, but should it be an extreme penalty? I think you can make a case.
Mike, does it matter to you at all that he signs documents saying that he won't bet, that there's outlined over and over and over that you cannot gamble, you cannot do this, that he's told explicitly, this is against the rules. This is against the rules. This is a punishment.
No,
do you care at all that he looked at all of that and said, it doesn't matter, I'll do whatever I want? Does that matter to you in the slightest?
Yeah, it does matter. And I said there should be a significant penalty, but should it be an extreme penalty? To me, it makes a big difference whether he bets for his team or against his team. That's all I'm saying.
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. So this is what happens. You just open the door, man. Like that's what we're talking about here. if you open the door to, oh, now you can bet on the sport and you can bet on the team, but you have to bet for your team. Like, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to live in that world at all, where the players are betting on their own teams.
What kills me about the Pete Rose example, or when people talk about it with Sorsby, is we only have fragments of information. We don't have every bet he's ever made. We don't have every phone call he's ever made. We have no idea if Sorsby was on the phone with somebody and was like, yeah, our left corner is out for this upcoming game. Like, it's going to be really tough to stop so-and-so. And he's just telling them all of this. And you're like, if it was me, I'd put money down on it. You have no idea how any of this works, or what they could have been doing, or what Pete Rose chose or chose not to do as a manager, or anything else. Like, I don't care what Keith Olbermann has determined on this. It is plain and obvious to everyone that is playing sports professionally or in college, you are to not do this. There is an extreme punishment as a deterrent to not do this.
Yeah, and by the way, Aaron Eulis was the player that Mike was talking about. He served a suspension, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And was out for a portion of the year. I didn't like it. Obviously, it would have been a different situation if he would have been some sort of a game-changing player, which Texas Tech thinks they have a game-changing player in their quarterback for next year. But I don't recall anybody like standing on the table and being like, "This is egregious. I can't believe he got suspended for this. Please free Aaron Eulis from the shackles that he is on right now." I don't think that was happening.
There was a time where I thought it was a bigger punishment for Nebraska to be playing Aaron Eulis than the opposite. So we can discuss that.
When people bring up guys like him or Hunter Deckers or Shannon, the Iowa guy, not the Illinois guy, that was a different thing. Noah,
which he was absolved of,
right? Noah Shannon, I believe his name was.
Right. Yeah.
Who all like serve these suspensions. These are not pleas to not have them suspended. It's because I think that's getting a little misconstrued over the last couple of days. I think people are bringing those things up because they served their deals and they served their times and it was evaluated and all these different things. If Brendan Sorsby was playing under the same rules, which he apparently is not, according to a Lubbock County judge, then he would have been banned from ever playing college football again already. It'd be done. It'd be signed, sealed, and delivered. If he was playing underneath the same rules that all these other Iowa guys or whatever, the whole breakdown a couple years ago, they would be banned.
And part of it for them is they weren't 21. So there's like that component of it too, which Sorsby wouldn't have been 21.
Correct.
At the time.
Also underage.
So like
illegal. Again,
bright, big red letters. Do not do this.
Mm-hmm.
There are consequences for our choices. And we continue to try to avoid ever having consequences in college sports with these athletics because there's so much money and these players matter so much to what we're trying to do. I just, it's unfortunate that nobody at Texas Tech could look at this situation and be like, you know what? We're going to be fine whether we have Brendan Sorsby or not. It means more to our university that we uphold the value and the sanctity of these games, and the integrity of the sport.
That's it.
Nobody's willing to do that.
It is a microcosm of the problem with college athletics in general. I think that's a part of the reason for me why this particular case has angered me more. Not only because of, what it actually is, the nuts and bolts of the situation, which is ridiculous, but also I believe buried in here is the problem with college athletics. Nobody, when given the opportunity, and there is a clear-cut opportunity, nobody is getting up and saying, hey, actually, do we think this is a good idea for the greater good of the sport, for the greater good of our university, for the greater good of our football team, like whatever it is. They're just thinking about the bottom line. They're just thinking about how many wins could I get? Is it the difference between 11 wins and 12 wins? And if it is, we'll do it and we'll fight for it. Even if it means lying through our teeth and saying completely disingenuous things. If that means that, we'll do it because that's our edge. That is the problem with college athletics in a whole. Nobody ever thought before we blew up all the conferences or whatever, hey, is this a good idea? They were just thinking about money. They were just thinking about their ability to what their situation was best for them. And that's just one inflection point of what we've had in college athletics. That's what I don't know. That's part of what it is for me anyway. Obviously, the case is bad enough in and of itself.
Yeah, it's less that or the whole picture of college athletics for me more than just like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You're told over and over this is wrong. And I hate that we continue to just go to courts to get answers that allow us to get whatever it is that we want, even though the rules say that, no, you don't actually get to do.
Yeah. I think courts.
That's why I want 5 for 5 so much, because it takes so many things away.
I always thought courts were,
Are there not more important court cases?
I thought that they would back in my day, I don't know what happened to courts, but back in my day, they would look at this case and they would be like, "You're an idiot." They would John Fanta this person, and they would say, "You're an idiot. Please get out of our courtroom."
Are you
right
sure you
now.
just weren't watching Judge Judy over and over?
Yes. This is a ridiculous thing. I will not hear this, and please get out of my courtroom. I will put you in contempt,
I can't
as
believe
they would say.
We don't have an ESPN reality show that's like a sports court of some sort where they litigate these things on television for us all to enjoy.
The closest we had was Final Verdict on college football final
Oh, that's right.
with
But Mark
Reese
Forgot about
Davis,
how much
Holtz.
that
Mark
meant to
Man
you.
Lou Holtz.
Dumb. We got a few tweets that we can get to still as we go on throughout the show, but we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's fun to talk about the Brendan Sorbet story, but it's also fun to have opinions. So send in your opinions at HappenShafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. And once again, if Joey picks you out at random, you could be going to Funplex. So give yourself an opportunity to do that. We'll do that in about 10, 15 minutes here. Be right back with the headlines after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, once again, I have an opinion coming up in just a couple minutes. Get those opinions in at Happen Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. By the way, a comment from Jimmy the Greek on YouTube. Connor has a third grade understanding of the court system, which honestly, I can't argue with that. That is mostly true.
But what understanding do you have of right or wrong?
Mostly pretty good.
As long as you understand, you have a good sense of common sense. That's what matters.
Not a very good understanding of Dave DeBuscher, though.
No, that I had no understanding.
Check that one out. All right, Joey, what do we got?
I don't want to say this. Knicks in 6. New York man's high school yearbook prediction 6 years ago goes viral.
Oh, I've heard about this. I haven't actually seen it, so this makes me want to click. I think I'm going to use this, but let's see what else we have.
New Zealand tourist attraction closed due to unsanctioned poo.
Unsanctioned poo? Unsanctioned poop?
Yeah.
I don't know what unsanctioned poop is. And
I
I
don't
really want to talk about poop all that much.
Well, you want to talk about the Knicks?
I want to talk about the Knicks. Bing bong. Where's the John Bishop Bing bong? Is that on here, or is
I think I removed it.
you'd have to find it? Okay, yeah, we gotta get some John Bishop Bing bong. Anyway, let's go to the AP. If the New York Knicks win it all this year, just remember that Evan Pfeiffer called it 6 years ago. Evan Pfeiffer definitely sounds like a guy you went to high school with. While his classmates dutifully list their academic awards, extracurricular activities, and sport accolades in the high school yearbook, the Long Island resident opted for just 6 simple words for his entry. Knicks in 6, 2026 NBA Finals. He wrote that next to his portrait in the 2020 Smithtown High School West yearbook. Wow.
He didn't even get to have a normal high school year, but
That's
he
right.
still predicted the future.
A young
So then when Matt complains about all that was taken from him, we'll tell him about Evan Pfeiffer.
He's Long Island Matt McMaster, Evan Pfeiffer, but he is way better at predictions. The prescient prediction has gone viral after he shared photos on social media in recent days. One Instagram post has more than 130,000 views. Of course, the Knicks. The Knicks, though, may have lost their chance to win in 6. What if it was 2020? What if they win in 5? He said when contacted by the Associated Press, I was at my good buddy's house and I said Knicks 6, 2026. It rhymed so well that I just figured, all right, I'm going to put that there. I could have said Knicks in 5 in 2025 or Knicks in 7 in 2027. I guess I got the right year. Pfeiffer said he took some grief, particularly from his parents, for not using the yearbook space to spotlight his school achievements, which included being a member of the National Honor Society. I kept it just as the quote because I thought if that happened, it would look way better than if I had a bunch of awards underneath. Pfeiffer said his parents have since come around to his thinking. Quote, now that it's happening the way it is, they said for the first time in their lives, all right, you were right. Early in the playoffs, the lifelong Knicks fan said he swore off watching the team's games because every time he tuned in, they lost. Since they reached the finals, and his prediction is inching closer to reality, he's been watching them at home with family. Pfeiffer believes that the current squad has what it takes to win the first title of the franchise since 1973, even if it isn't in 6. Quote, I absolutely love that they play ethical basketball. It's team basketball. Everyone knows their role and cares so deeply, and you could see it whenever they play. They have heart. Thank you for this excellent prediction, Mr. Pfeiffer.
That's a perfect summary of this series. Ethical hoops.
Ethical basketball.
The AP story tried to do Evan Pfeiffer dirty a little bit by claiming that when he said that they were terrible, that they're
terrible.
41 and 30 or something in parentheses. They got the 41 and 31. They got the wrong year. The yearbook came out in 2020, so he's a senior in 2020. At that time, the Knicks had won 17 games that year. So the AP do a better job.
Dang.
If you're trying to bury our guy Evan Pfeiffer, you gotta at least make sure you have the right season when you're trying to do that.
I think Matt and Evan would be pretty good friends from what I'm
Do you think Evan has changed his, like Matt McFutures? He's now Evan Futures.
He might be. I mean, he had a great prediction.
Maybe he can be Evan making money and Matt will like him as much as Megan.
It's a good idea. Shout out to Evan. Hopefully he's wrong because hopefully the Knicks win in 5. Actually, I kind of want
You
to.
don't want it to go back to Madison
No,
Square
I
Garden?
do. You're right. Yeah, I immediately retract that.
Yeah, I was shocked when you said that out loud.
I think you want to see Spike Lee lifting the Larry trophy.
The Knicks
in front
have to.
of
The Knicks have to
fans.
win in exactly 6 because they have to win at home.
If it goes 6, it's perfect because either you have the complete and loss and all of that and everything that comes out of it and the
Disaster.
fans of it, or the euphoria of the win and it's at home.
It needs to be in game 6.
It's got to go to 6.
Yep. All right. Those are the headlines from our dear friend Joey. Evan's playing some ethical basketball, ethical predictions for him. When we come back, it's time for I Have an Opinion. Send in your opinions at Happen Schaefer and the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. We'll be right back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, 8 o'clock here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you. It's time for I Have an Opinion. This is the game that is definitely a game where you send in an opinion to us. Anyway, you get in touch with the show. Most common usage is at Happen Schaefer and Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Send in an opinion there, and we will read it on the radio, believe it or not. And then we will pretty likely discuss it for possibly 90 seconds or maybe even several minutes.
Just depends on the opinion. You never know which ones get stuck with us, and we have to debate and go round and round over.
We just roll with it. So,
do you have any opinions that you're sitting on right now that you want to get off?
No, nothing immediately ready. Nothing readily available.
I have a couple.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard one of them this morning when you walked in talking about the driving.
Well, yeah, that's just
basically.
We always end up talking about driving on this segment. It's
well,
good.
It is.
This won't be driving.
Okay,
related.
no driving.
This is not driving related. I have an opinion.
Good job.
I think the quality of food has gotten worse as the prices for everything has gone up. I've noticed this. It's not just like when you go get fast food or you're eating out or whatever. It's even the stuff you're buying from the grocery store. It feels like the quality isn't nearly as good as it has been in the past. There's like items that aren't as good as they have been in the past. I just feel like there's an inverse relationship right now where the food costs have gone up, but the quality has gone down. And I don't think that's great. I'm paying more for less quality food. And some of this is probably I'm not doing a great job of picking things out if it's supposed to be fresh, like the produce. Some of it could be maybe I have to go to different places to eat. And it's not to say every meal is bad or all food is bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've noticed that I've had a lot more incidents where it's like I buy something that's store-bought or I get, fast food or have a meal and I'd sit down and I'm like, that wasn't very good.
Interesting.
And I paid quite a bit for this.
Could
not
it
to
be
very
something
good.
is altered in your chemical?
It could be me. It could be my brain has been altered or my tastes are dying and that I'm shifting in terms of taste as I
Maybe you
age.
just don't enjoy food as much anymore.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
like to blame other people.
Yeah. I haven't noticed this at all.
It could just be an island thing for me. I'm willing to believe that is
Now,
often the
I am
case.
willing to believe you because in general, society is worse. So maybe the quality of food has gone down. But the first tenet of your opinion is just really difficult for me because I don't notice prices of things. Like
Okay.
I just buy food because I know I have to buy the food.
Right. Well, yeah,
Like,
you
I'm
have
a-
to
I'm a-
buy it.
I'm an
but you don't
absolute train
notice that
wreck.
it costs more.
No.
That's incredible.
I'm going to buy the groceries. I noticed that the total at the end of the
Sure.
grocery trip is more expensive. Does that count?
Yeah, no, that absolutely counts.
Okay. So yes.
That absolutely counts.
Yeah. Like
There's
I will buy the
certain
same
individual
things.
items that I'm just like, I cannot believe how much I paid for this now relative to what I paid for it, whatever X year I want to use.
Yeah.
Now, it's not every item, it's just certain ones. But
I don't know. People, I don't know how much, I've never known how much milk is cost. Like people always say, like, what's a gallon of milk?
Sure.
It's like, I have never known the answer to that question.
Well, it also depends on what milk brand you're buying, where you're
Yeah.
buying it from, the situation of which you're buying it,
Yeah.
etc.
Gas, I will pay attention to.
Sure.
Gas is,
That makes sense.
yeah, but
That's
I don't know.
interesting, though. I would have assumed that you were like cognizant of price increases more than you actually are.
No.
But you're just like, whatever, I'm slapping my card down and that's what it is.
It's in
you
and
gotta
out,
buy
baby.
it. I mean, that's
You got to buy it. You got to buy the food. Are you
most
going
of
to
the
not
stuff
buy
you're
the food?
buying is you're buying for a reason. you
Yeah.
know? So
You're going to not buy the food? No.
no,
you're
I
not.
continue to buy it. I'm just paying more and it frustrates me.
All right, let's go. Where do we go? Do we want to go text line, email, or tweets first? I have many of each.
Okay. Let's go email first.
Email. To the Equitable Bank inbox we go. Here is Seth yesterday. I have an opinion. I should be allowed to make my passwords as long or as short as I want. If I don't want to put a capital letter or a special character in my password, I shouldn't have to. Whatever happened to freedom?
My
Seth-
guess is, like everyone else in America, they're just trying to avoid going to court, so they don't want to be sued because they didn't have a strong enough security system.
Probably.
So,
But I generally like if they're gonna hack me, then
do you have any passwords that it comes up where it's like your password has been compromised in a data breach?
yes.
I just continue to leave it as the
Yeah, I
same
don't
password.
care.
Yeah. I've assumed that my data has been stolen and my
Absolutely.
identity has been stolen, and
Just
there's
take it.
some other Mike J. Schaefer somewhere else on earth that is ruining my credit.
The most frustrating one is where you have to change it every 6 months or whatever.
CBS had a different password every 90 days, and it had to be 14 characters with like symbols, and you couldn't use. There was like if 3 of the characters were in the same place as a previous password, it would boot the password, and there was all of these rules for it endlessly.
So
And then you had to
frustrating.
have like 7 different passwords to get through their HR portal to do different stuff.
My
It was
goodness.
insane.
Disgusting. Here's TC who writes in at on the Equitable Bank inbox, excuse me. Pete Rose's selective betting on the Cincinnati Reds caused 2 major issues. It signaled inside information to bookmakers and created conflicts of interest in his managerial decisions. When Pete Rose did not bet on the Reds, it acted as a signal to his associates and bookmakers that he lacked confidence in his team's ability to win that day, which often skewed betting lines. Even if Pete Rose only bet on his team to win, it could have tempted him to compromise the game's integrity. For example, he could overwork his best relief pitchers to secure a win on a day he had money on the line, potentially jeopardizing the team's chances in future games. So the thought process that he only bet on his team to win does not hold water. If he thought that they could or couldn't win and did not bet, that is a signal to his inner circle to bet on the other team.
Who sent this in?
TC.
I would like to nominate TC's email for the Hall of Fame.
What about Funplex tickets?
It's in there. It's
TC, you're going to
it's in
have
the
to
drawing.
Nice.
I'm making an executive decision.
Nice job, TC. Well done. TC,
assuming he's in the area.
by the way, TC is full of excellent emails. It's just a ton
It's
of
a great
stuff.
email. I don't know if we have a Hall of Fame for emails, but I'm starting one and TC's goes in.
They always end with peace, TC.
Okay.
This is the best. Here is the text line from the 402. I have an opinion. Victor Wembanyama doesn't get enough criticism for his dirty play during the playoffs, but it is good for the league to have a new dominant bad guy to contend with. I mean, he's not.
Is he dirty?
That's not going to be his arc, I don't think.
I didn't even feel like his flagrant was particularly bad.
Yeah.
Like Towns is sticking his face in there. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of on him too, to a point.
He's such a difficult player to just manage from an
he's
officiating standpoint because, yeah, he doesn't. His body is so confusing. They just like,
Sometimes I just look at him on the television screen and it's just like,
what the hell is
this
going on?
computer graphic has popped up. What is
His and Chet Holmgren's body are very confusing.
Incredibly.
Chet
Incredible.
just wishes he could get his to work in Game 7.
That's more of his brain, I think,
What, the Tin Man?
for the record. Yeah. If I only had a brain.
Yeah, Wemby's one flagrant away for a suspension. So
He's
That-
great.
that's-
Is it the Cowardly Lion? I don't know.
Courage the Cowardly Lion.
The
No,
Scarecrow
no,
He's
that's
a
the dog.
Yeah. The lion doesn't have a heart.
Okay.
And then the Tin Man doesn't have a brain. And what was the other one?
Scarecrow.
The
was-
Scarecrow doesn't have a.
I thought the Scarecrow was heart, and then the lion was cowardly.
But wouldn't if you had a heart, if you didn't have a heart, wouldn't that mean you were cowardly?
Could be.
Because I thought that was the lion. Maybe not. Maybe that was the
We're gonna have to
Scarecrow.
go back and relearn the Wizard of Oz.
Joey,
here.
what would are you Googling this right now?
No, I'm
Oh, okay. I heard you
Joey's
typing.
probably
over there.
building a graphic as it relates.
What
to
would I Google to
Wemby.
get to this? Wizard of Oz characters
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah. The Tin Man is definitely brain,
We know that one.
but I had always thought that the lion was a coward and the Scarecrow needed a heart.
The Scarecrow needed a heart. Yeah, I think that's right. He needed courage.
The
But I
lion
always-
needed courage.
I always thought courage was the okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just combined two things. My
So,
bad.
okay,
I apologize.
if James Harden is the Scarecrow because he needs a heart to play defense, who is the courage? And Chet Holmgren is the Tin Man. Who is the cowardly lion here?
Maybe Maybe it is Wembanyama.
Oh no.
I mean, he was
He was
shaking
so
in his little
vacant.
boots.
Oh
last
my
night.
gosh.
Or his big boots, I should say.
So then who is the who's Oz?
Actually, Holmgren, Chet Holmgren is the he needs courage.
Okay, so he's not the Tin Man.
Yeah, he sucks at playing in consequential games for
Dude,
sure.
Do we put
needs a
De'Aaron
brain?
Fox?
Maybe Wembanyama. I'm not sure. I don't know. We get more than 3 options probably, but
Probably.
we'll have to think about that. From the 402, I have an opinion. The umpire challenge system is frustrating to me. For the most part, I like it. Last night I was watching a game and there was a ball that was 6 inches outside the strike zone that was called the third strike and was overturned. But if a ball is even 2 millimeters on the line, it is not overturned. So in effect, the umpires are getting almost a full ball width outside the strike zone that most people would not see as a strike if looking at it from watching it. I think there should be a percentage of the ball that must be in the box. I would say at least 25 to 50% of the ball must be in the box. Technology could do this. You're right. Technology could do that, but it is stupid.
Yeah, I'm a no on that.
Me too.
Like if it touches any part of the zone, even if it's just a sliver of it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Like, if you want to live in a world where we have this technology and we use it, which we clearly do because society has told us this for years now,
And I do want this.
then we have to have black and white lines.
I do not
This
want,
is the black and white
do
line.
not want an umpire making an interpretation of the shape of the ball and how much of it was in the literal zone and how much was out.
This is it. It's
I
just like
barely
tennis.
wanting them to call balls and strikes as it is. So I certainly don't want them judging the, percentage of what's in and what's out.
Schaefer wants to ban all umpires. Text from the 402. I have an opinion. The whom scene in The Office is some of the best writing in television history. The timing, the quips, an absolute incredible minute of TV history.
I need to rewatch this. The whom scene?
Oh, the whoever. They're all in the conference room.
And they're debating the grammage or the grammar and usage. Grammage.
Yeah, like Pam comes in and
yeah.
she kind of she kind of sets everybody straight. Whoever.
And then someone misuses it, and so they have to do it all over again. And then it's like, this is how you use whoever.
And like the best part, I think the best quip in the entire one was Oscar, who's always the kind of what about, guy. He's actually the guy. And he's like, wait a minute. Now I'm not sure.
That guy has the funniest pop-ups of the ensemble of The Office. A lot of them don't appear in other stuff, but Oscar will be in other shows, and it cracks me up.
So they all have a lot like the scene where they are they're doing fake CPR on the dummy, that classic scene. You have this situation where they're all together and they're each saying so many on-brand lines for their character. I'm looking at the script right now. It is hilarious. Creed comes in and says, Michael is right. It's a made-up word used to trick students. Andy, no, actually, whomever is the formal version of the word. Oscar, obviously, it's a real word, but I don't know when to use it correctly. Michael, as an aside, not a native speaker. Just keep going.
What a scene. I got to watch that.
Yeah, this is a good one. That's an underrated one.
Well done.
Good job. Good job, Texter. Pedro. Hi, guys. I have an opinion. You should listen to your father's advice more. My pops had blue blocker sunglasses in his car and told me I should get some because they are great with the glare and rain. I put a pair in my car, drove around with them for years, never using them. I was driving home from vacation and got caught in a downpour and couldn't see 5 feet in front of me. Every car had their flashers on driving 30 miles an hour. I took his advice and put on the blue blockers and was able to see the lines on the interstate and the shape of the car in front of me. Thanks, Pops. He's been gone for years. Happy Father's Day. What a great tribute from Pedro.
Yeah.
And shout out to blue blockers.
Have you ever worn blue blockers?
No, they're coming back, though. People are starting to wear them a lot because they're watching too much television and they want to get the melatonin deal out before they go to bed and stuff like that, which is actually a very good idea.
Sure.
But I don't have them.
Yeah.
I've
never worn them.
Just blaze my eyes with the TVs.
Pretty much.
It's fine.
Just burning them out.
Yep.
Staring at screens all day long.
Text from the 402. I have an opinion. The College World Series should go back to having opening ceremonies on Friday night with a concert and fireworks. Therefore, the first games get played on Saturday.
I like the current iteration for what it is. I have made the switch. I don't know when they actually made the switch from doing it to what they are now, but
It's been a few years
there's
now.
been some really good Friday games. In particular, the Tennessee Florida State game was a Friday night.
Yeah,
That-
12-11. Yeah.
Remember, there was a Nebraska camp going on, and I was following the game on my phone because the Nebraska camp was absolutely that interesting. So take from that what you will.
Mm.
And then beelined home as soon as I could get out of there to watch the end of that game, which featured what should have been a strike three and an end of the game
That's
for
right.
Tennessee.
That's right.
And instead, Florida State ends up losing, and it's such a critical, like, you can't lose that first game.
It's
And then Tennessee went on to win, I think, the College World Series that year.
It's amazing. Yes, I believe so. It's amazing how many examples of that we have in baseball games. It's like, oh, one bad thing happened, like, and it was literally on the verge of closing out the game, and then the game completely flipped the other way.
Why I think it's such an amazing sport. Like, you have to get the 27th out for it to matter. And it so often doesn't happen.
It's
Ask
odd.
USC. They couldn't get outs 26 or 27.
No, they cannot.
And now they're at home, and UNC is here.
They are. Go Heels. Oh yeah, it gives me another opportunity to bring up that guide to Omaha that I saw a couple years ago. There was like a guide to Omaha on their website done by one
North
of
Carolina.
yeah, and it was funny. I forgot in which way it was funny, but it was funny looking at the perspective of an out-of-towner who's just been here a lot and the places that they visit.
There you go, too.
Yeah. So we'll talk about Omaha and the College World Series a little bit later on in the show. Text from the 402. I have an opinion. The College World Series needs to go back to the late 90s, early 2000s theme song, Back Home in Omaha. Somebody had a text about that yesterday, that was the best song about a city
Oh,
that they had heard, which
any city?
I can't remember if it was exactly that. And then I thought, well, there's actually a better song about Omaha, and that would be Counting Crows, Omaha, somewhere in
I haven't
Middle
heard
America.
that in a long time.
That is a great
I had
song.
to think about it, and then you said it, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I know that song. Okay.
That song is the Counting Crows one is better than Back Home in Omaha. That one, I think that's the one he was talking about.
Yeah, I like, from a nostalgia purpose, it makes me think of like Rosenblatt and being a kid and watching ESPN2 and Alabama playing Miami on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00 or whatever it is. But
Grasshopper Takeover did they did an Omaha song too, but I don't think it was called Omaha, was it? You remember Grasshopper Takeover?
I do not remember.
It's an Omaha band.
Okay.
And I feel like they had an Omaha song. And I remember it made it onto one of my MP3 players back in the day, and I was always jacked when I heard it. That was a good one. Yeah. Oh, Bigelow says that it was Bowling for Soup who did the Omaha song, the Back Home in Omaha.
Okay. That's that track.
I don't know why they haven't used.
Haven't thought about Bowling for Soup in a while.
I don't know
now
why
I
they-
have 1985 playing in my brain.
Nice, good one.
Yeah.
That one comes on every once in a while at the ballpark.
It's a fun music video.
I
too.
don't know why they haven't really ever used the Counting Crows one. Now that I think about it,
Maybe is it Adam Duritz? Is that his name? Maybe he's not giving them the rights to it. He's just holding on to it. Maybe he hates baseball.
So I saw Counting Crows a couple years ago over at Stir Cove,
Man, that'd have been great.
and right, because you could see when you're down in there, you could see Omaha in the background. And I was like, I'm just gonna stay around long enough for them to do Omaha, and then I decided I really wanted to stay around long enough for them to do Crazy Game of Poker, and then that was the last song, of course. So they got me.
Counting Crows does Crazy Game?
Or no, I'm sorry,
OAR.
OAR, because I was thinking about the Omaha song, which is not actually an Omaha song now.
This town.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted to stay long enough for them to do that. Here's Pedro. I have another opinion. I hope backwards hat Matt will be coming to the College World Series. A lot of
I
College
think
World
he'll be
Series
there.
takes.
I think I'll be there. I don't know when, but I anticipate we get some Matt Rule at the College World Series. There's no Nebraska sporting events going on. Well, no track and field. So I guess if they don't have success, it's
I don't
because he
think
gets
he's going to
shown
be in
at the College
Eugene.
World Series.
I don't think he's going to be.
No. Right. He won't be there.
No.
But I think it's just if he ever gets shown, it's bad news for something.
Oh, there's another Omaha song. The Bowling for Soup one was Ready or Not Omaha, Nebraska. Remember that one?
No.
They still use that one occasionally.
Okay.
Like for throwback videos.
The
and stuff like
montages that ESPN used to produce and then pair with some sort of music. Sometimes it was like really notable. Sometimes it wasn't. Those are always great. I realize like I'm a montage person. I like a good montage. Throw me some highlights with some good backing music. I'm a fan.
Let's see here. A lot of great Omaha song comments here in the comments on YouTube. Michael Severe writes in, co-host of this show tomorrow, Omaha Mall is the best song about Omaha. Did you ever hear Omaha Mall by Justin Bieber?
No.
So Justin Bieber went to the Omaha Mall once.
Crossroads?
When he was a child.
Westroads.
No, Westroads.
Oh.
Caused quite the stir. And
like when he was 12 or whatever?
Yeah, he was probably 12. And he was a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
Walked around the Omaha Mall.
A big deal his like entire life.
Yeah, wanted to get some shopping done or something like that. And then he released a song on YouTube later, I believe, called Omaha Mall. And he said, "This is how we ball at the Omaha Mall."
Do people actually ball at the Omaha Mall?
They do not.
Okay. I've been to that mall a couple times.
Maybe back when the food court was real and not the Container Store. I was balling then. I was getting them free chicken teriyaki samples all dirt.
Man. I like the Container Store.
What?
It's a good spot.
Did you ever go to the old food court at Westroads?
If I did, it would have been when I was a kid. And Westroads was like the last mall we went to when I was a kid. It was normally Oakview and Crossroads. Those were the primary two that we would get to.
Okay.
It felt like we rarely ever did Westroads.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Westroads was like the home base for malls.
Oakview was the mall. Like when I think of a mall in Omaha, I think of 1990s, early 2000s Oakview Mall.
There was a moment.
That is the mall.
There was a moment where Oakview was taking over, and then it was short-lived.
Were there mall wars?
Westroads came back. Yeah, there was mall wars.
People really cared about the malls.
Everything was kind of moving that way, and Oakview was new and cool. And then Oakview had a moment, and then
now it's going.
Westroads
downhill.
came way back. Like Westroads came all the way back because they redid it and they got that whatever. And now Oakview is just dead.
You remember there'd be times you'd tell someone that lived in Omaha that you went to Crossroads, and they're like,
"How old are you?"
Nobody goes to Crossroads. What are you doing at Crossroads? I went to Barnes and Noble, and then I walked out of it into the mall. What do you want from me?
Crossroads had a moment. It was just like it was before my time of going to.
Yeah,
malls.
I'm sure Crossroads was like the original.
Yeah, it was the original before Westroads and Oakview.
Unless you call the Center Mall.
It's super weird now
Or
that I'm
South
thinking
Roads.
about this. Like we would come in from Columbus, like we'd put our wagon together and get the oxen and come in from Columbus, do our Christmas shopping, usually around like December 18th. And it was absolute chaos. And it was always like the Oakview Mall. And I don't know why it was never Westroads.
I'm not sure either. Westroads would have been probably more convenient for you to get to from Columbus.
I'm guessing there was other stores that my parents also wanted to hit that were around Oakview.
They had
that made
ulterior
sense.
motives.
We did go to the Target on Maple, I feel like, a fair amount, which would only seem to lead to Westroads being available to us, but we didn't end up doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm now thinking about this a ton. I spent so much
Why did you do
time
this?
at the Oakview Mall in that food court that
Yeah.
over like on the second level.
Yeah.
And my dad would just get mad. He had one store that he'd want to go to, and it's probably to buy a Terry Redlin calendar or something. And then he would go sit in the food court, get himself a cookie from the cookie company,
Nice.
and read the newspaper. And we were all supposed to meet back at like
At the food court,
4:15
yeah.
at that spot.
Genius.
And if we got there early enough, he would sometimes give us money to get a cookie or something.
The cool one about the Oakview is that they had, and they may still have, the Vicks popcorn popper in the food court.
My dad was a huge fan of
Yeah,
it.
Great job
That
by
was
them.
probably
It was
also a big
great
part of
joy.
it too.
I think they still have that storefront over by Oakview, but
Oh,
just
the-
across
the-
the street, the Vicks popcorn popper.
It's no longer Vicks. Is it Great Harvest or what? They changed
Oh,
their
really?
name or something.
Is Vicks dead?
I think Vicks was changed to something else, but that could have just been outside of Omaha. Maybe they retained the one Omaha store. The Vicks in Columbus switched.
Placat writes in, can we get Joel to get his opinion on Counting Crows? That's right. He was he was amazed at when he was here covering Creighton for the 1 year he was covering Creighton because they would play Omaha by County Cross after the games. And he was like, "What is going on? This is so confusing." We're like, "Dude, we got to teach you about Counting Crows." He's like, "I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about Counting Crows." And they went and covered the Thunder, and they won a championship. And now he's bigwig.
Yeah.
Voting for MVP
still probably
and
knows
stuff.
nothing about Counting Crows.
Probably not, but we tried to teach him here on this show. That's a good callback from our dear friend Platt Cat. Let's take a break. We'll come back with Brian Christopherson up next on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan.
I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man.
Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend, Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 BC. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you doing?
Very good. I'll have you know that this is actually the first time that we're mentioning this today. Trae Taylor is a 5-star. Now, we could have, we've been sidetracked on the NBA Finals, sorbet, and just a bunch of other things this morning. But it's
World Cup? You get any World Cup talk in?
Joey actually had some.
He told us the matchups.
He told us
It
the
started
matchup.
today.
It
Starts today.
Starting today.
I did a very dangerous thing, guys. I posted a World Cup thread on a college football message board just to see if that would get blown up immediately.
Did you get stuffed in a locker?
There's been some nerd comments and all sorts of things directed my way, but I'm gonna stay steady and keep it going for a month.
I clicked on it, and there is one of the first comments says, "Is it over yet?"
Yeah, there's not a lot of commentary yet. There's some people chiming in. It's there's some people. I want them to feel safe behind my lead going into battle. Those soccer fans out there, that they can post about it and even form some opinions about the formations the Team USA should use and things of that nature.
Nice.
As the scorer of one of the greatest goals in Omaha North soccer history, do you have are you a World Cup guy? Do you have a team besides the U.S. that you pay attention to or care about?
I don't have a team besides the U.S., but I love the World Cup. I just love everything. I love anything where it means a lot to other people. Like the Olympics, I'm that way too. Like I could get into tiddlywinks or anything. If you're saying, there's country pride on the line.
So you love international kind of events then?
Yeah, I am. As you know, you guys gave me an English Premier League team, the Wolverhampton Wolves, who I believe got, they're out now. We got knocked down.
Relegated?
Yeah, that's the term. It was escaping me for a second. I was like, man, we got whatever. When they push you down into the hole, that happened to us. The Wolves are no longer with the big boys.
Sad, very sad. All right, BC. So I feel like we've asked this a million different times since the commitment of Trae Taylor a year ago. The whole, what does it mean thing, but. He is a 5-star now, according to the 24/7 Sports rating system, the number 8 player in the country and the number 1 quarterback in the country. Can that have any tangible, effect in the last few months of this recruiting class, or are you thinking about something else as it pertains to its, the impact of Nebraska having a 5-star quarterback?
You know what? At this point, the way he already was diving in as a 4-star guy when he had that attached to his name, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot as far as, if they're going to get this guy or not get that guy. I think some of the lead dogs that they've been in on, your Ahmad Hudson types, they already respect the heck out of Trae Taylor's talent and potential. And so they didn't probably need, us giving him that 5th star to think differently of him or anything. But it is a cool deal for a prospect like that who has worked hard on his craft since he was probably 8 years old, honestly. I did a story when he first committed and talked to his QB's coach, Donovan Dooley, back then. And that was the age when he said, it doesn't take you long to recognize sunshine or something was his quote. And that was Trae Taylor at age 8 when he knew like this kid's going to have something to him. At age 12, he was sitting there in a meeting room with Bryce Underwood and another recruit who was 5 years older. and gently kind of correcting the guy who was 5 years older on something they were looking at, like in film or on the whiteboard. So he's always had sort of that, I think, the makeup to be what he is now, as far as a recruit at least. So I think it's just a cool story that it sort of got punctuated like this. And the other thing I'd add is, Tom Loy from our network called him, and then, that's out there on social media. He was genuinely like grateful for it, and it meant something to him. And he said he's going to call his parents right away. And I'm not, going to say what the other sites will do, but I kind of have the feeling he's going to be a consensus 5-star when it's all said and done.
Nebraska picked up a commitment yesterday from Nehemiah Umbadi, and that, along with Errol DeMontenac, gives Nebraska some incredibly well-named defensive linemen. What else do we know about their additions to a defensive line class where it's been a little bit of a struggle this cycle to add the guys to Jaden Travers, who's been committed since January?
Well, it required patience. There definitely was that spring build where, you hope you built the sort of relationship where the last 5 days you were going to do really well at the plate. You think about it, there was a lot of pressure on this past weekend about delivering on that D line with the recruits they got, because as you mentioned, they had Travers, but Umbadi and DeMontenac obviously were at the top of their board. That's why they were in the first weekend, and they were guys who had visited in March and April respectively, and you felt good about it, but there was no sure thing. And so if we're sitting here today and Nebraska hadn't landed both those guys, and I might even throw in Mayato Mo, the edge, defender who Roy Manning got, there's some grumbling going on right now and some real concern, because our calendar's different now, like in recruiting, especially at Nebraska. Like, this is the week where it had to happen, where you had to like sort of reap the benefits of all your spring work, and they did that. And so it was kind of an all or nothing deal, and they got all of it. They went 3 for 3 there with the 2 D linemen and Mo as an edge guy. I like both of them, and obviously Nebraska did too, because that's why they were in the first weekend for the visit. Umbadi, is a guy up in Minnesota who I think, like, going into his Husker visit, from sort of the tells in the network, like, Missouri was right there and maybe even had a slight lead. Nebraska had to do well this past weekend to make sure they got him, and they did that. So that was big for Corey Brown. And DeMontenac, had Florida State, was one of the schools that was interested in him with Terrence Knighton, and Nebraska held them off. And so I really like DeMontenac numbers last year. He had a monster season. It was like 24 or 30 TFLs last year. So he's a guy who's really caused some chaos, and 6'3", 290 type guy. So they've got some guys with good frames that I think if once they get in here with Kristen Coggin's nutrition program and the college strength setup, you would hope that they can at least, fight for the depth chart sooner than later.
Did last week put him in a position to, is June, the rest of June, now less, stressful, I guess, as far as from a recruiting standpoint? What else needs to happen this month for Nebraska to feel well positioned as they prepare to sign the 27 class?
I don't think you want to lay off the pedal, but definitely there's a feeling like things are on the right track right now. They banked 6 guys from the weekend so far, and Matthew Gregory's still out there as a receiver. He could be 7. The only spot where they might need to add is wide receiver. Even after Gregory, I think there could be a spot where you could fill that. I kind of thought Isaiah Alvarez was a guy I thought might end up at Nebraska, but it doesn't seem like it's trending that way. So receivers, one area where even with Gregory, I think you could still add another tight end perhaps on top of Joey Hunter. When you kind of look at that room, And then, defensively, I still think they're going to add a couple DBs still. And they got Bryce Williams, which I thought D-line was the biggest thing of this past weekend, but Bryce Williams is probably like the headliner as far as like, a 4-star recruit who you beat out Oklahoma for at a cornerback spot. And now Addison Williams is, they're trying to add Jalen Hill, who's going to visit and then decide next Tuesday. And I feel good about that one. And maybe one on top of that, Kamori Whitfield is not out of the picture for him yet. He's another, high profile DB who just visited Oregon. So those are probably the areas I'd look at. But to your question, Connor, they're in a good spot now. Like it was like all that build up. I think this is sort of everywhere in the country now. You get your high profile dudes in there that first week, if you can, that are high on the board, and you hope it's coffee is closers time. Closers, you got to finish the deal on the stuff that you kind of built in March and April.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. All right, BC, enjoy the weekend. Big weekend. We got World Cup. We have baseball. We have recruiting. We have the Savannah Bananas. All sorts of stuff. So enjoy wherever you will be.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. What is the saying there? Coffee is for closers.
Coffee is for closers, or ABC always be closing.
Okay, I think he got.
But it could also stand for always Brian Christopherson if you want to do ABC that way.
That's true.
That's us at Thursdays at 8:30. Always BC.
We do always be having BC on the show. That is absolutely true. All right. When we come back, a few things I want to get to. Speaking of the World Cup, there are people who are experiencing America for the first time this week. I'd like to check in with them. We'll talk about Omaha and the College World Series and all those sorts of things as well. Max Olson will still join the show as we continue on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Yes, the World Cup is here and it's coming to America.
Hooray! Hooray!
What a movie.
Hooray!
People should watch Coming to America. The cool part about this is we get to watch other people, foreigners, come to America for the first time, and specifically where some of the exhibition matches have been at college football stadiums in the South, or whatever, just places
Soldier Field
that are very
underwhelming, like Soldier Field.
well. I don't know about underwhelming, but American in the sort of conventional way that
Sure.
that a foreigner may think about it. So, have you been following along with this guy named Freddie? Have you seen any of Freddie's tweets?
No,
I haven't seen that.
I can't say that I've seen Freddie's tweets.
So Freddie is here supporting Germany. And he has been on U.S. soil for over a week now, I think, or about a week or so. And I believe the German team played at Auburn a few nights ago. And so he went from Germany to like Dublin and then to New York and then to Atlanta. And he drove to Auburn and then drove through. Now is driving through Florida and all these different things. And Freddie has been amazed at some of the things that he has seen. Please turn your attention to the YouTube stream if you're watching along with us today for a visual appetizer as to what this is. Here is his first trip to Buc-ee's in Auburn. Dude, LMAO, this is a gas station. And that was the first realization that something like this existed. Everything has been in all caps from him. He also experienced many fast food items for the first time, like Wendy's. He went to Wendy's and got a lot of Wendy's, which is good. There's also Taco Bell. He went to Taco Bell, the Holy Land. Just a lot of really earnest realizations of things. He commented a lot about how he had turned on radio stations and couldn't stop hearing Ella Langley every single time he turned on the radio station.
Particularly in that area of the country.
Very common. I mean, get ready. The College World Series is here. It's going to be nonstop Ella Langley for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, she's got it going right now.
She's the big deal now?
She's the big deal right now.
I feel like I had friends that were really high on her a couple years ago. So
She has an incredibly popular song and it has capitalized off of that very popular song. And you're going to hear the popular song and the other songs.
That's what you tell me, but I'll let you know if I've heard it.
Well, you might not know. I mean, maybe you won't find out.
Well, it's what usually happens is it plays. I don't know what it is, and then I have to hear it multiple times to realize I have heard it.
And then you call Old Town Road, Old Town Roads, and
Old Country Road.
Old Country Road.
Let's get it right.
We're
going to get it wrong.
Here is another person that has made the trip to U.S. soil. Fiago, who is a Germany supporter, was very excited about Portillo's. And look at all of this Portillo's. Some proper Chicago food, bro. They have a milkshake with cake in the cup. It's ridiculous. Basically, they're just amazed about all of the things that we can experience on a daily basis here in the United States of America, specifically with our fast food items.
Yeah, I'm always like somewhat thrown off by this. And then it's the realization that most of these people come from a country that is largely just the size of like one or two states, or like Texas plus Louisiana in the case of Germany or something like that. And so then they get to the United States where it has like subcultures.
It's got all these different things.
It's a very different world than what they are used to.
They made looks like they made a 14-hour drive from, or an almost 12-hour drive from like Nashville, maybe.
They have to think everything's slow on the roads if you're coming from the Audubon country.
Maybe. And then, so I guess they're going to Houston afterwards as well. They went through the mountains in Chattanooga. They went to Walmart. They went through a variety of different places in Alabama. The best one, which was a video, was from the Freddie guy. He was completely shocked when the war eagle flew. There's an eagle here. What is going on? He was amazed by swag surfing, I believe, which was a thing at Auburn Stadium. I mean, just a whole lot of different things going. I very much enjoyed Freddie's.
This seems like a great content, really.
It's great. It's a great follow. He's got now up to 360,000 followers.
Whoa,
on
good for
Twitter.
Freddie.
So Freddie's got it going right now.
Yeah.
Check out Freddie. He's a lot like Ella Langley in that way.
Is there like a certain fast food that you think all of the visitors need to try? Like we saw Taco Bell and Wendy's, Portillo's was in there. Is there something?
If he does go deeper if he goes into Florida, I mean, I do think he's probably got to get a pub sub.
They should go.
I've never had a
They should go try Waffle House.
I think he went to Waffle
Oh,
House.
he did.
House is
He
a
did.
great one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he
Waffle
went to
House is a
Waffle
great
House,
one.
but Waffle House is a great example.
Experience
of this.
Popeyes.
He's hitting all the good stuff.
Popeyes would be a good one.
He's
Sir Josh Peterson would gladly invite him.
I don't know where he's going to end up next, but I'm excited to find out with everybody else. So enjoy America, everyone out there. Speaking of making pilgrimages to places, the College World Series is here, and I have something I think that comes from the bottom of my heart to
Connor
say.
has an opinion.
That's right. Next on 1620 The Zone. 9 o'clock.
9.
Here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you. A text from Pedro on the text line. Thanks for the cookies, Pedro. You rock as always.
Thank you very much.
Delicious.
Hi, guys. Wouldn't it be great if the USA had a bullet train that went from East Coast to the West Coast? Instead, Omaha is getting a trolley that costs millions and will go blocks. Cities and states throw away so much money on dumb stuff.
I would love a bullet train. More trains.
I love it.
Yeah, it'd be cool. The European mind would then begin to comprehend America at that point.
But they would miss out on the fast food that they get by driving.
That
to
is
eat
true.
In the train car.
There's beauty in the struggle. As they say.
Well, there's definitely, if you're coming from another country, like driving, if you're fine handling a vehicle, will allow you to experience way more of America. So, yeah, I think that's good.
It's amazing. Shout out to all the people coming from overseas for the World Cup,
and shout out all the people coming to Omaha.
That's right. I'd like to talk about this for a second. So, I love the College World Series. I love Omaha. I hope that my love for Omaha shows on this show a lot. Like we make fun of the town, but ultimately, I love Omaha. I feel like I am of Omaha, right? As Nick Grimm is from music, I am of Omaha. And so I love these few days before the College World Series because there's all these preparations and sort of, we kind of clean up a little bit. Like we put on nice clothes and we sweep the streets and all these different things. Like it just, there's a certain shine to it right now, particularly on this day and then before the games tomorrow. And I've seen a lot over the last couple of days, all of the Omahan's guide to Omaha, right? Here are the bars you need to go to. Here are the coffee shops you need to go to. Here are the restaurants you need to try. And people will say like, hey, don't, this is sort of like a tourist spot or whatever, but you got to try it. And I really want to be cynical about those guides, quote unquote, because that's just what I like. That's just how I am.
Sure, yeah.
If I see something so much, I'm like, all right, get out of my face with this crap now. But I can't, because I think there's something special about that. I've never really heard from people over the years, particularly as it pertains to this event and this town. Don't go there because the locals don't really want you there, and we don't like when these 2 weeks come around because the locals get displaced and they have to move and they have to do different things and it gets overrun by tourists and stuff like that. You hear that in other places when they host big events. I don't hear that here. There is such an embrace and a pride in this event. We get to show off a bit every year. And Omaha is one of those places where, people will have realizations about it over the next couple of weeks. Oh, it's actually kind of like a small town, but it has some cool kind of quirky features to it. And it's not for everybody, that's for sure. But what makes this event so cool, and I think what makes Omaha special, is the pride and the care of the event, and that the city has always that part of it has always been what has made it special. We've done it for 80 years now. And so, as bringing us into it a little bit here or myself, or I'll speak for myself, but it's so cool to be a part of it at 1620 The Zone, the home of the College World Series. And so what we promise to do is, we're showing off a little bit. I take so much pride in the fact that we get to be the national broadcast for the College World Series. It's produced by people like Joey at the to stations all across the country. So the Europeans who are in Auburn right now might be hearing it, or whatever it might be. And but we also promise to take pride and care and just the right amount of Omaha touch with it to make the event feel like it does if you were actually here, because you feel it. I think when you walk into the stadium and when you come into the city, it's, as people always say, it's really cliche. It's about the event has always been about the people. It's changed venues, but it's always been about the people and how welcoming everybody is and how we want to just put on a great event for everybody else, not so that they come back and not for like monetary value or gain or whatever it is, but just because there's a pride in the town. And I think there's a pride in the event. And there's been so many things that have been done over the years to make it better or cooler or a tweak here and there and have better facilities or whatever it is. You saw Creighton's field go up yesterday, and they're going to be using that to practice this week. That's just the latest new addition and new scoreboard and all these different things. I love it. And those choices will continue to be made over the years, but the people are always going to be what makes it, because there's such a pride in the city. And I have that pride, and I hope that comes through over our broadcasts and our village broadcasts and what we do over the next 2 weeks. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, when I got offered the opportunity to come here and do this show with you, one of the things that I was excited about is that the involvement that I have with the CWS over the last decade, where I've been asked to fill in on shows, I love doing those. Some of the most fun shows I've done on this station have just been random in-between shows with Josh Peterson, where you only have like an hour. And so you get to go different places, or more likely you have people stop by or drop in or want to talk to you or tell you about, hey, we came from, Mississippi, or we're here from Baton Rouge, or
we have the little
we
kids
come here
saying,
every year,
podcast?
whether LSU makes it or not, and then like you see people, and there's people that I've met some of the first years of doing these shows that will come by again because you are part of the experience for them. And that's really cool. You were talking about the pride that goes into this, and it made me think about one of the things that Nebraska fans are known for is how well they travel and support their teams, etc. The other thing, and you would hear this a lot on message boards with opposing people that would come into Lincoln, and I think it's true in Omaha, or at least my experience with the CWS is the same. The pride that you're talking about is that, one, Nebraskans love to go elsewhere to support their teams and do all of that. They love when people come here so they can either show off their facilities, which are pretty immaculate for sporting events when you think about what they are for the most part, or their sense of pride in place and town and state.
I think that's it. That it is genuinely rooted in that. It's not like
it's never
come back or show me like, look what we have. Look at how cool all this stuff is. Here's all our bells and whistles. It's like, I want you to come see this because I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and how could you not love it? If I love it so much, how could you not love it?
The people that come here all the time, whether their team is here or not, is because they've fallen in love with the people and the place and the environment and the experience. And not all the time is like the CWS. And I do think one of the things that's interesting, and I don't know if you felt this when you lived in Lincoln, but you're in Lincoln during the CWS and there's just no coverage.
It's like it doesn't exist.
Like, yeah. But you cross the river, you get over here, and it's just like an entirely different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I loved, and I will do it again this year. I have a group of friends, like we've done this for 6-7 years now. We have one day during the week where as many of us that can get together, show up, we meet at the Happy Bar, we make a day of it.
Good job.
It is a phenomenal, people were talking about the Oklahoma City thing as spring break for guys in their late 30s and 40s and 50s. We do that one day a year at the CWS all the time. It's like the perfect environment for us. Sometimes you won't see these people, for months on end, but you make a point for it because it's become a thing. Like, I think that exists for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think it's a really well-run event. It's a great showcase for Omaha as a host city for various things. I mean, I think the reason other things have come to be hosted in Omaha is because of the success that has happened with the CWS. I know from doing stories when I was asked by the Advocate to write about McFly's, which was the bar that LSU would take over every year. And you would talk to these people and it's like, what is it about this bar? And it's like, well, nothing special. We just got to know the people who ran it. And they're like, hey, bring some people with you. And then we brought some people and other people brought some people. And it turns out they really loved having us here. And so it became our place.
Yeah.
And you have a ton of stories like that. and it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's weird how stuff like that happens. It can only happen organically, right? You go to one guy goes to one place one time, and then he brings a friend, and he's like,
Right.
"Why don't you guys come back?
That's what Happy
Why
Bar
don't you guys
was.
come back next year?" You
A
know?
guy got there before everybody else, and he's like, I wasn't gonna sit in my car and wait for you all to park. So he's like,
Yeah.
found the closest bar, meet us here. Everyone loved it, and so that became the official meeting spot of this trip.
When we went
this
on
thing that we do every year.
last year, when we went with Creighton baseball to the Big East tournament, we stayed at the hotel, and it was great, and we won. And they were like, "Well, when you guys make it, come back and stay again next year."
Right.
And that's what we did,
Right.
you know. And that's how it's gonna be for as long as they're in it, you know. And I think like that part of it is just really, really cool. So it's the same people. You could sort of, we talk about these sporting events that you could kind of set your watch to. And I think there's something special about that. It's the same thing here with this, but with all the people. I know when I go up the stairs today, or when I go up the elevator today, the slowest elevator on planet Earth, when I go up that elevator today, that Ike and Henrietta are going to be in the elevators, and we're going to see them, and they're going to say, "How's it going?" and all those different things as well. Yeah. And so I hope that you hear that in what we do over the next 10 days. It's very, very special to us. I know we can be very, very cynical about it sometimes, and we can say, "Oh, it's a slog," and it will be. In 4 days, I won't feel this way. But the prevailing thought,
But then you'll call one great
Yep,
game, and
yep.
it'll be like, oh wow.
the prevailing thought will always be, this is the best thing we get to do. This is Omaha. And I don't know. We're really proud to have it here on the Zone, and I'm proud as an Omahan to have it every year in this town. It's fantastic. Johnny Fantana says, "Love this segment, boys." Well, I don't know, man. It's good. I like it here. That's my take.
So what? And you don't have to chide any of the businesses, but what are the things where you're looking at these lists? Like, what's standing out? What are some of the suggestions that you've seen so far?
Well, people just always say, like, let's just go to the Blatt and go to the Mat
Yeah.
and go to the
A lot of it
Rocco's.
is like, where are you staying? How much do you want to leave the area?
Yeah, like
Because
everybody's
where you and I
experience
live is
so
very different than what
Yeah.
downtown would be.
And there's there's hotels out by us.
Right.
And so like maybe someone should do a guide if you're staying at the Holiday Inn on 186th and Maple or something like that, you know? Hey, if you're staying out here, we got a Qdoba
Come
that
to Gino's Bar and Grill.
we got a Qdoba that opens an hour late.
Oh no.
Did you see my experience yesterday?
Yeah, you're yesterday.
Yeah, I've had now 2 Qdoba experiences.
You went to the good Qdoba?
I went to the good Qdoba, and I
it
pull
let
up.
you down?
It's 10:46 in the morning, as I know that they're one of the few places that opens at 10:30. And I go up to the door. I'm like, I'm going out of my way to get this lunch, and there's a sign on the door, plastered on the door, that says, "Today we open at 11:30."
What?
And I got triggered, and I drove away, and I got runs up popcorn chicken.
How was it?
It was fine.
But it wasn't what you wanted.
No,
It wasn't that delicious burrito.
I wanted a
They
burrito.
probably saw that graphic and they don't want you stealing the hot sauce.
I wanted that could be true. I wanted queso, but I only got Thai chili covered popcorn chicken.
Which is like queso, but not queso
It's
at all.
just very, very different. All right. So we're going to talk to Max Olson, a Nebraskan, when we return here. And we have a bunch of like predictions that I think we're going to try and make in the third segment. We'll have to suss through that a little bit because it's a big weekend coming up. But and then of course Schaefer will be manning the fort for the next several days, both at the OBV and here in the morning show as well, with a variety of different hosts. We'll take a break. Max Olson is up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. More of Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Max Olson from ESPN. Max, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am well. Thank you for having me.
You know, there are football angles to this topic that we're going to have to talk about today, and we don't have to just talk about the bad stuff that makes everybody angry. So, I mean, it's
What are you discussing?
I don't know.
I'm good, man. Bring it.
Although I could ask, I mean, what is Joey McGuire thinking is probably my first question to you.
Yeah.
But and I guess we'll just leave it right there.
I was worried you were like setting up the Max, don't you think Congress needs to get involved now? Can we just go right to that? No, I think for Texas Tech, it's a tough, weird spot to be in. And I think you can look at it a few different ways. Like they, certainly Texas Tech could have just said all right, well, we're going to try and reinstate him, and if that doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we'll move forward. When the NCAA denied his request for reinstatement, then the school made a decision to move forward on this and appeal it and stuff. And I know they want to say hey, we're not a party to this suit, and we're not the ones who are fighting for his eligibility necessarily. But now that judge granted that, and no one can really totally believe it, but now the judge granted it, I expected there would be an extreme amount of backlash, and there has been. The whole Big 12 teams won't play them and stuff. I don't know about all that.
Right.
But I think obviously the Big 12 is in a position where they're trying to figure out how to put a stop to this, and if they can put a stop to this. And I think if you're Joe McGuire, it's you want to support the player. You don't want to support the behavior. But you also I think legitimately have to make a decision about the culture of your program, and can you excuse this stuff, and can you really stand in front of your team and say we're doing the right thing here, when Texas Tech can provide a ton of support to Brendan Sorsby for his recovery, his continued recovery. They can keep paying him, they can keep him in their program and take good care of him without him playing a football game. And so do you take that approach, or do you keep fighting this? And ultimately, based on some of the comments Cody Campbell's made this week, maybe to them, deep down, it really is just about competing for a national championship and screw the haters.
Max, sometimes on this show, we come up with questions for our guests before we actually have our guests on, and then we write them down somewhere. And so we did this for you earlier in the week. When you were playing the beta version of NCAA Football 27 or College Football 27, were there any cut scenes to court cases or anything that we need to be aware of for this game?
I actually texted one of the people that runs the video game there and said, they have a new feature this year where you can upgrade your facilities and you can upgrade your support staff. And I think there should be an ability to
sympathetic judges.
If you have enough coins, can you unlock a powerful local judge who will change the rules of the game for you? Yeah, I think that would be a nice feature. They added NIL to the game this year. It's only a matter of time before we try to really capture what's going on.
It'd be a fully immersive experience.
Wow.
I mean, that's what they're going for. Okay. So did you go to the event that they had where all the writers, all the scribes?
No.
Okay.
Guys, I'm not an influencer. I mean, come on, that would be true. That would be something. No, I played the beta over the weekend for 4 days, and that's the one that it doesn't have the real rosters and stuff, but you can kind of see how they set up the game, and I talked with them about kind of giving them some feedback on how they implemented NIL to recruiting and portal and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty exciting. Yeah. I think it comes out next month, and it's another nice step forward for a game that personally I'm completely addicted to.
I know. Same here. It looks like it's getting better too, which is kind of what you're asking for.
Yeah. Well, and your addiction to that game doesn't affect your ability to continue to work for ESPN. So they don't have to worry about that or anything.
That is true. Nice. Good reference.
That's true. I don't gamble on the game. That would be another level of that I can't even conceive of that, but that would be interesting.
So Bill Connolly did his Big 12 preview this week on ESPN. All the conference previews are excellent from Bill. And he basically laid out how Texas Tech is still going to be very good with or without Brendan Sorsby. I mean, that doesn't factor into the bigger picture item that we're talking about as far as his eligibility is concerned. But what do you think all of this means for Texas Tech as a football team? Or do we have to wait to get some more finality as far as a resolution is concerned to really know the answer to that?
Yeah, the funny, like, one of the things that, like, just isn't really getting talked about at all through this saga is that Will Hammond is not a bum. Like, I think they really viewed him as the quarterback of the future for their program and the guy that was going to start in 26 until he suffered his torn ACL last October. And, he played really well on the road at Utah last year and started against Arizona State. I think he's a good player, and like it's probably gonna take him a couple of weeks to get back to start the season. But like that's he's a dual threat player who I think can really be really successful in their offense, and offensively and defensively, like they're just kind of too loaded to fail this year with what they've got coming back and a lot of all Big 12 talent, and then once again, like a really expensive and really impressive portal haul. So that's the thing for Texas Tech is like they're gonna do everything they can to get Brendan Sorsby on the field this year, but they're gonna be just fine with Will Hammond. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch. And of course that's going to be a weird dynamic too. Like, let's say, I don't think this will happen, but let's say the Big 12 just extends the Sorsby suspension. He can't play, for 6 games this season or something like that. Like, I think that puts Joe McGuire in a really weird spot too, because they love Will Hammond and feel like he's a great leader and players love him. And it's like, do you bench him after a certain period of time, right? So I think there's some elements that there that could be kind of odd. But yeah, no, I think Texas Tech they certainly feel like they're going back to the playoff this year, no matter who's playing quarterback. And really the difference would be that Sorsby, if he's right, can give them a chance to get to the Final Four or maybe a title game.
It seems like, and this is just based on the early days and what they're saying, we're not close to football yet. It seems like they're a pretty united front, right? So like, I wouldn't be super concerned about them sort of like cracking under pressure or this creating some sort of rifts in the locker room. Although what you just mentioned about the quarterback situation is interesting. Like, it almost feels like this may galvanize them outside of the quarterback position and who it is that, I don't know if it leads to more wins. They just may be better than everybody else in the Big 12, but I wonder about their sort of mentality going into the season based on all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think internally you're going to lean into the like, man, everybody hates us, we're the villains, like, right, let's go kick some ass, right? But this is where like you also get into another piece of this that is like kind of tricky to predict, and that is like, let's say, we go status quo here and Brendan Sorsby's playing week 3 for Texas Tech. Like, the rest of this season doesn't sound like a lot of fun for Brendan Sorsby, right? Like, I think just the scrutiny on how he's going to play, what those crowds are going to be like on the road, and like kind of just the national attention on him. And, I certainly in the NCAA tried to make this argument in their hearing last week, but like, you're kind of throwing him back into this highly pressurized situation that, in some ways kind of triggered the addiction when he was a freshman and sophomore, right? So I think that there's definitely got to be like some concerns there of like, man, is this the right thing for Brendan Sorsby to be kind of thrown back into the fire here and have this spotlight on him the rest of the season? Which again is another reason why I still kind of wonder if, depending on how things shake out here over the next 10 days or so, like, is there still a possibility that he just thinks that going to the NFL is still the best move?
Maybe.
So you guys were discussing the Big 12 as it related to Texas Tech and the talent that team still has, even whether it's Sorsby or not Sorsby. Who's the biggest threat in that conference to challenge Texas Tech? Arizona State beat them last year. BYU played them twice. Neither one was particularly close. And then, of course, they have Willie Fritz in that conference, and you can never count him out. What says you, as a guy who knows the Big 12 pretty well, who's the team that Texas Tech should be most scared of this season?
Yeah, there's nobody else is spending at the level of Texas Tech, but I think there are a bunch of teams in like the top half of the conference that will be competitive in this conference race this year. I think you probably still look at BYU as maybe their best threat, and to Kalani Sitake's credit, like, BYU, is not loaded with all Big 12 players and all Americans and all that stuff, but they just continue to play way better than the sum of their parts. And, I think when you see Bear Bachmeier take a step as a sophomore, you have LJ Martin, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, back at running back. Like, I think BYU, I certainly don't think that they're like, they might be number 2 in the Big 12 in roster spend. Nobody really knows. But I think they're probably like the best bet to chase them. I do think Arizona State's going to bounce back in a big way. Really liked what they added in the portal. They've got a freshman QB who might start over Cutter Boley, and that would be pretty interesting situation there. But Kenny Dillingham's done a great job there. I think TCU is going to bounce back and be a threat in this race. I think Oklahoma State could be one of the most improved teams in the country. So, and then we'll see how much Utah falls off or maintains where they've been under Morgan Scalley. But, certainly you guys saw them in the bowl game. That's a pretty talented team. So I think there's a lot of threats at Texas Tech. And, if it is Will Hammond this year, then the margin for error is a little bit smaller.
I have one non-Texas Tech question for you. We were going to talk about this today, but we're clearly not going to get to it. So I'm going to ask you, what will happen at Washington this year coming off the Damon Williams, saga over the offseason? I read a story in The Athletic over the last couple of days from Chris Vanini, who kind of, he got some quotes about it. Damon Williams not really talking about it, not really delving into why he did what he did and sort of all that. He's just like, hey, I'm kind of moving on. Can that fence be mended? Because it seems like it's a bit of a struggle, and that's a very, very impactful player as far as how the Big Ten looks.
Yeah, certainly. And that's, I think I know that Tony Petitti and the Big Ten viewed that as like a real victory of like, man, our contracts were strong enough that and enforceable. And so therefore Damon Williams couldn't go in the portal and couldn't go transfer to, wherever he wanted to transfer to, whether that was LSU or Miami, or I don't totally know what the grand plan was for Damon Williams. But, at the same time, we said, like, after a saga like that, yeah, they had a ceasefire and all that, but like, you still don't like it. Does the player want to be there? Are they still like happy about being there? Is it just that they kind of got some bad advice from at the wrong time from the wrong people and got excited about, how much they can make in the portal or whatever that may be? Like, weird situation. We haven't seen a whole lot of that. Usually if it's put out there, they're going in. Then everybody's kind of like, good riddance, see you later. And that's how people were with Damon Williams. And then there was a reversal there. So like, really talented player. Like, I think Jed Fish can work this out with him. But it's kind of a weird deal because you don't really have any choice but to work it out with him. It's not like Washington had a better option in the portal if he didn't come back. And so, they lost some good offensive pieces there this offseason. And I'm curious to see kind of how they can flip some of that with Adam Muhammad going to Cal and, some of the wideouts that moved on. But, man, I think Washington is certainly in the upper half of the Big Ten, but, kind of what kind of step Damon Williams takes and can he be an all Big Ten type of player probably goes a long way towards telling you, like, are they a legit, like, 9-win type of team or are they going to take a little bit of a step back?
Max, you're a Lincoln guy. You lived in Nebraska, moved away, moved back. What's your relationship like with the College World Series, which, of course, starts tomorrow?
Love it. I've tried to go as much as I can since I've moved back in 19. And when I was at the Athletic, I was helping Mitch Sherman cover it every year. I don't know that I'll have a lot of work duties this year with the CWS with ESPN because we got Ryan McGee and a lot of great folks that cover this. But yeah, it's a huge fan. Definitely love flipping on the regionals and super regionals. And I asked you for this yesterday, Happer. Who do you think is like the team everybody gets behind this year? Is it West Virginia or like who's going to be like the fan favorite this weekend?
I think it's West Virginia.
Pepperoni rolls.
Yeah, I think it's them. They have all the right characteristics. Haven't been here and have kind of been on the doorstep. Fan base is
quirky
strong, quirky brand. Yeah, they kind of have all.
And you don't want an all SEC title game, right? Like a final series. Like it'd be fun to have somebody break through.
Yeah,
that's a me thing.
That Schaefer has been very much on the soapbox about not wanting an SEC title game for sure. You're going to get one of them.
Well, we mentioned West Virginia. So how has Rich Rod gone there in the second iteration?
Yeah.
Now that we're on this, Happer and I were kind of talking about it yesterday. It is wild that he's back at West Virginia. Is it going well for Rich Rodriguez there? They weren't one of the 8 Big 12 teams we talked about. So let's get them in.
No, I think, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a long-term rebuild, I think, in terms of how they're approaching that. And,
Brown.
you know, it's kind of like probably like Purdue or some of those programs that were in year one last year where it's just like, all right, man, we've got a brand new roster this year. And then we're going to try and hold some of this together and then recruit a brand new roster all over again for year two. And West Virginia is taking a little bit of a different approach. I think they signed like 40 to 50 high school players in their most recent recruiting class. So they're kind of trying to take the developmental angle to this and, you know, finding value with high school recruits. And they got some blue chip guys that come into this class, but, you know, very much like all right, hopefully the portal class works and hopefully they kind of give us enough time here and we can, you know, build something that's pretty solid. They lost their top receiver, Cam Vaughn. He transferred to Miami. They're going to have a quarterback battle between Scotty Fox and Michael Hawkins, who transferred from Oklahoma after backing up John Mateer and Jackson Arnold, those guys. So, you know, I think that you're probably just trying to get bowl eligible this year. They showed some improvement, had some good wins last year, but it's kind of one of those programs, especially when you're stuck near the bottom of the conference in terms of your funding and stuff like that. It's just like, man, can we kind of find the magical combination? And then if we did, can we kind of keep those guys in our program and not have them, you know, leaving for better money elsewhere?
All right, Max, great stuff. As always, appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
That is Max Olson from ESPN.
We really should have asked him about the NBA Finals. Max
We
is
covered
an
all the
NBA guy.
bases.
He likes the NBA. I'd be curious how he felt about that. I think he kind of adopted the Spurs a little when he lived down in Austin.
Was he crying like a baby last night then?
I kind of doubt it. No, by adopted, I mean I think he was okay with them when he lived there and they had Kawhi and they were playing the Heat.
Sure.
I don't know that it extended.
Maybe he was like many Americans and just amazed by the spectacle of Madison Square Garden last night.
I was amazed by many spectacles.
There were some spectacles. This De'Aaron Fox spectacle throwing the ball off of people who aren't looking.
What was he doing?
Let's take a break, round things out.
What was he doing?
After this on 1620 The Zone. All right. Final segment here on Happer and Schaefer. Let's see. I need to remind you of something. How about the Zone road trip? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this, Dana Holgerson? The Zone road trip that is coming up?
I haven't seen that.
All right, let me tell you. 4 tickets to a Royals-Tigers game on August 23rd, where you could sit in the Blue Moon Tap Room and you get a free parking pass to that as well, which is important, by the way. And then we're going to throw in 4 passes to Adventureland, $150 to Early Bird, Ted and Wally's for a year, and a $100 Hy-Vee gift card. I will repeat, Ted and Wally's for a year. That's no small prize. Enter online 1620thezone.com. 1620 the road trip, folks. We're going to get you all hooked up. All right, we got sports this weekend starting, Joey, today.
Yes.
Mexico and South Africa play soccer today. Does anybody have any opinions on? Oh, yeah.
Hooray!
We all picked Mexico early.
Mexico and South Korea were my pick.
And I looked it up. There is a World Cup bracket sim.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Hit me.
The site is, I sent it to you on the sheet, but I will see what the
sim it, yeah.
I'm going to see where the U.S. is at in their group stage. Oh, this time they win. They win 2,
We won! Hooray!
They win.
They'll get out of the group stage.
They get out of the group stage. They beat Paraguay 3-1, 5-2 against Australia, and then lose 5-0 against Turkey in the final game.
We'll take the under on that.
All right, then knockout stage, they would face Sweden.
Loss.
Ooh.
I'll sim that. They beat Sweden. They faced Belgium in
loss.
Wait, you just redid it? So
they're you sim each round, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, so you stage the group and then the knockout round. The U.S. beats Belgium in the following match. They lose in the quarterfinals to Colombia 2-0. And the winner of the World Cup in this sim is France over Netherlands 2-1. Wow. And then Colombia ends up winning the third place game against Uruguay 1-0.
Oh, well, congratulations. Where is the third place game?
It's in Miami.
Nice. Perfect third
Good
place
spot
city.
for Colombia.
Perfect third place city. I was looking at the team, the group, like futures odds. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Sorry.
You're good. I knew where you were going, but
so the USA is in Group D, and they are actually the favorite to win the group.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get out of the knockout, or they're gonna get into the knockout.
I remember when we were sitting here that one day and we were watching the draw, and everyone's reaction was, "Oh, this is actually an easy group. We won
relative to what they've played in the past." Yeah,
cool.
Usually the hosts end up with kind of a lighter.
That doesn't sound like something a corrupt organization would do.
Famously, the FIFA organization is on the up and up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Definitely didn't take bribes to put a tournament in Qatar.
Interesting. John writes in, he says, World Cup soccer. I thought you said there were sports. There is World Cup soccer. This has got to be
This is always the same John, right?
Yeah, same guy. This has got to be a terrible, terrible week for John. We have the World Cup. We have the NBA Finals, which are awesome. We have
the Stanley Cup Finals.
The Stanley Cup Finals, which I don't think he acknowledges hockey much either. There's no football.
Rule's going to appear on McAfee.
There's college baseball. How could you not be cynical about college baseball? I mean, this is a bad time for John, I think.
Meanwhile, it's a great time.
I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, like more.
This is awesome.
More.
This is I don't know how this all landed on the same weekend. Oh, and by the way,
we're only missing a giant sports scandal involving a white Bronco for it all to come together.
That happened during a Knicks NBA Finals.
Yeah,
what would
I know.
What would be the best day to potentially have a new OJ chase?
Would it be the Friday of next week?
Friday
to
of
line
next
up
week?
with sort of the
There
timing
wouldn't
of
be
everything?
there wouldn't be any College World Series games.
No, but you would still have potential
Game 7 of the finals.
Potential Game 7 of the finals.
The
World Cup stuff.
Day 2 of the U.S. Open. Stanley Cup, maybe.
Stanley Cup would be done. They're going to be done before the
maybe
NBA.
a Wednesday.
Next Friday, the U.S. is playing Australia in Seattle.
Wow.
That's a 2 TV night. Have 2 TVs out.
You think we're going to get a Game 7 in the NBA Finals?
Potential.
Joey hopes.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping there's more games to this.
I know we're getting a game 6.
We're going to get a game 6. Scott Foster is going to be in San Antonio.
So
on
game 6,
Saturday night.
Game 6 of the finals would be which day?
Game 6 would be Tuesday. Game 7 would be Friday.
Okay, Tuesday, game 6. I think that's the right day for the OJ chase.
Okay.
For the new OJ chase.
We just have to figure out who the new OJ is. Sorry to them. Actually, not them. Sorry to the people who won't survive.
The U.S. isn't playing soccer that night, but if it could happen on the same night where the Knicks actually win the NBA Finals, which I think they're going to do it in 6, it'll also be the same night as France, Senegal, Iraq, Norway, interesting, and Argentina, Algeria in Kansas City.
Yeah. Wow.
That is definitely the night that the next OJ chase is happening. For the
Which,
record.
again, apologies to the people involved.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, do we have anything else we need to cover before I leave you all for a week?
Do we want to do the bracket sim of record for the CWS
yes,
one final time here? And do you want to make your CWS prediction?
I don't really have a prediction. I don't. I'm gonna go broadcaster and say it's inappropriate for me to make a prediction.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm
not
respect
a real
that.
broadcaster. I can make a prediction, but I have tomorrow's show to do that.
You do. I'm gonna simulate this bracket, and here it is. It is Georgia, West Virginia in the final, with Georgia winning the Natty.
Sign me up. Georgia, West Virginia final sounds great.
Go Dogs.
Hooray. Sincere.
Okay, bracket sim of record is in the books. Georgia is your national champion, and West Virginia makes the final. I don't know what happens on the way to get there, but I'm sure a lot of interesting things. My prediction is that you will once again be hearing lots of Ella Langley.
Okay.
That is that if you're at the ballpark at all this week. John, by the way, follows up. He says, I already said I love the College World Series. I wish there was more college baseball on TV. Okay.
Well, to get to the College World Series, you actually have to have less baseball because, you got to eliminate the teams to get to the 8.
That is true. We don't think about it that way. Maybe the playoffs are actually terrible because it means
less
sports.
games.
Yeah. All right. That'll do
They're
it for
terrible.
us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Time for the crossover with Matt Josh coming up next.